We're different here. We don't just get up for another day. We rise. We don't just work. We endeavor. We're women and men for and with others. We have hope, we believe, and we celebrate. Why are we different?
So we can be the difference.
Hello, welcome to the EGFC. My name is Soy, joining me is Juice, and we are getting ready for some SSBU action. 2 matches to cover today, starting off with William and Mary going up against Marquette University. Juice, happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween, Soy. It's an amazing day, right? So we can't wait for the spooky violence that's about to occur in this cartoon video game that we all know and love as Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm very excited, man. How are you feeling about today?
I'm feeling good. This one should be a fun one. William and Mary, 3-1 on the season, looking strong. They're going to be going up against a Marquette team that's still searching for their first win of the season. But Marquette, I mean, they've always been kind of had that underdog factor about them. There's been many a time when they have been underestimated and pulled off these upset victories. So we'll see if that's the case today on Halloween. Starting off with 2B versus Extreme to start off this modified crew battle or hybrid crew battle of sorts. We'll play through 5 best of 3s, and it starts off with Corin versus Palutena. 2B's Palutena seeing more and more time the youngster is, and Extreme, a veteran of the Golden Eagles squad.
Yeah, man. And, speaking of the matchup as we get started here, obviously, we've seen a lot more emphasis on Corin being relevant in the meta nowadays, right? With Neo and also with Shattuck showing off extremely well at the last tournament, being Luminosity Makes Moves Miami, right? So we're going to kind of see how exactly this matchup kind of plays its toll. And whether or not Corin, does really have those strengths to contest one of the top characters in this game.
So far, 2B has a slight edge in terms of percent, but it will be a back air that's going to take the first stock here. Extreme catching 2B on a bit of a lackadaisical recovery there, and that back air killing so early. Very good start here for Extreme right off the bat, and they're trying to find some extra credit. Wow, side B into forward smash. That's a decent amount of percent already earned. They nearly call it the jump as well with that up smash, but 2B able to fade away.
No, for sure. And right now, Palutena sometimes tends to struggle versus those characters that provide a bigger disjoint than her back air of a shield, right? So, of course, Corn is another one of those characters that, with proper punishing ability, still going to survive that forward smash. With proper punishing ability and proper spacing, Corn can kind of contest Palutena a little bit more. And right now, Extreme surviving at 165%. To be trying to figure out how to get the stock. Manages to get that gimp with the first few hits in there right there.
Yeah, odd trade, but one that 2B will gladly take as, well, here comes the Nair train. 2 goes for 3rd, but the air dodge out from Extreme will mean that they're out of the combo for now. Extreme jumps back in, air dodges back to the platform. 2B's starting to play a little bit more patient on these recoveries, and I think it's paying off in great dividends here. Extreme now up to 70%. They don't find a grab. They will eventually get one here. Now another low recovery, and once again, rinse, repeat. Run off neutral air, catches Extreme, and now 2B's got the lead.
No, for sure. And that trade is actually really beneficial for Palutena. Of course, all she has to do is throw out a few hits of that Nair, and, you're forced into a situation where, your jump is now taken, and unfortunately, you're getting gimped for it. But great tipper right there on the side B coming out from Corn. But 2B, like you said, playing a little bit more patiently. Extreme was going for a lot harder reads versus 2B, and 2B's just kind of naturally waiting for it a little bit more and being extra patient with some of these really hard overextensions.
You're starting to see Extreme reach a little bit. That's what 3 forward smashes now that they've thrown out, trying to catch 2B going back to the stage instead of the ledge. Have not been able to catch them quite yet. The neutral air will knock them up, but the side B won't be able to take that stock quite yet. Good back air by 2B, but there's the sweet spot connecting, and down goes 2B's second stock. 1 stock apiece, but it's a 91% differential here. They're able to dodge around the grab and get one of their own, but can they get much off the back of it? On that platform, the neutral airs and forward airs do not connect. which means 2B is able to escape for now. They're looking for another punish. They don't catch the landing this time, but maybe Extreme can find a combo. Interrupted by 2B's Nair. Throws out another back air. Does not connect. The falling forward air will knock Extreme away. Extreme did a good job on stock number 1 of surviving at these high percents. Can they do so here in game number 1? Another side B in. A couple of these dash turnarounds from 2B just have not found the mark, but this up air should do the trick from center stage, and it will. 2B takes game 1.
2B showing off a strong emphasis and good adaptation right there. Of course, right there, Extreme was throwing out some very hard call-outs, trying to get those side Bs, trying to also get some of those back air attempts. But 2B, like you said, was playing just very patient, manages to seal that game with just a little bit more patience over here in the latter half of the game.
And I think back again to a couple of those options. Extreme does get it down to 1 stock apiece, but they almost inflicted so much damage to themselves by going for those heavier options. Things like the forward smash on the ledge. Even on the ledge, going for things like the down air to try and 2-frame. Very difficult option to precisely hit. And if they maybe take a page out of 2B's book and play a bit more patience along that ledge, there's a chance they can catch 2B on a couple of those recoveries. We almost saw it early on that first stock with that up smash nearly connecting on the jump from ledge, but Corrin's up smash not able to quite find the mark there.
Right. No, for sure. And another one of those things that, like, when you talk about 2-framing, right? Of course, some coins like to go for that down air, but oftentimes if that doesn't work, you kind of just want to back off of ledge a little bit and then just kind of play around that spacing where it's like, if you drop shield or if I'm able to call you out, I can do a space tip side B, right? And that would actually be able to net more kills than what we saw right there for Extreme. Of course, Extreme managed to land quite a few of them with shield poking and just general callouts, but I believe that is overall what Corrin probably wants versus Palutena, who's able to get snuffed out on the ledge a lot by 2-framing.
It's also interesting to see, I mean, after that first stock, the adaptation from 2B was almost always to recover low, right? They got called out for kind of a just fade in recovery, and that back air comes through at 80-ish%, or I want to say it was even lower than that. I want to say it was 60 or 70, but still with a little bit of rage on Corrin, that back air can kill very early. Seems like Extreme's got a pretty good idea of the aerial spacing of where to position themselves, but in terms of mixing up the game plan and actually getting to a point where they can get the combo game online, because Corrin has a good combo game, but just hasn't been able to truly string anything together. It's been a lot of kind of one and done for their hits.
Right. And yeah, that's one of the other parts that Corrin struggles with, is sometimes getting those like stray hits doesn't really net a lot of rewards, so you need to kind of pay attention to where those fares come out, and once you do land it, you need to be able to capitalize, because when Corrin capitalizes on like a stray fare, Corrin can get like 3 fares into an up air that nets about 60% of damage. So if that little chip damage can actually be something that Extreme focuses on in this next coming game, we could see a little bit of a difference here in Game 2 with Marquette actually getting a win under their belt.
One thing I'm also looking forward to seeing is 2B was going for a lot of grabs. Now, Palutena, I mean, it feels like a character that does get a lot off of grabs, but on the note that it was, I guess, conversion rate. It felt like if they went for 50, they landed 20. It felt like it was just under 50-ish%. And right. It's something that maybe Extreme can find a window of opportunity to potentially get that combo game going if they're able to find those windows, find those opportunities where 2B is looking for the grab specifically. Because 2B, I mean, the combo game is pretty bread and butter. Neutral airs, falling forward airs. They're able to throw out those back airs as well if need be. We did see a couple times too a decent read. Like you said, playing a bit more patient and catching Extreme's recovery in the process using things like dash attack, but not always finding the mark, going for a little bit heavier options now, like the charged forward smash under the platform and waiting for the up air on that platform as well.
And that's, another thing is fighting Palutena directly under a platform is one of the most dangerous things in the game, right? Especially if you're at 130%. You have to be aware and you have to be not as scared to just hold shield sometimes. Of course, everybody wants to jump off the platform, but Palutena is just going to track you down, double jump and up air like we saw to end that game 1. So I think Extreme is going to have to find a better way to get down from platforms, whether it's just holding shield and then, dropping through platform and getting back to neutral, or just finding that positioning to net them a better position just on stage. Because, of course, you don't want to be above Palutena when you're at 100%.
Yeah, it's a rough spot to be for sure. So that's game number 1 in the books. I believe they're going through picks and bans now to try and get ready for game number 2. We've talked a little bit about the game plan for both. In terms of the lineups for these two teams, I mean, we talked about it a little bit, but William and Mary 3-1 on the season, and 2B is a rookie that has gotten more and more time on this Palutena. And to be honest, in the EGFC, we really don't see a lot of Palutena. It's just the character that, although they've got a very high ceiling, not a lot of players here play it. So to be ready for a well-rounded character like that is noteworthy, but Extreme is going to have their hands full. Like we mentioned, Marquette, so far still looking for their first wins this season, but Extreme, no stranger to being able to pull off some of these upsets. They've been in the league, I want to say, 3-ish years now. They're still searching for their first win this season, but the Corrin is the tried and true, so I don't expect to see a character switch here. But I guess in terms of, maybe let's go to stage selection here. Right. Typical starter stage on PS2. Do you think they run it back, or is there a particular stage that Extreme would be looking for here?
I honestly want to say running it back would probably be like, okay, it's not going to be too detrimental to Extreme here at all. But I want to say, typically you want to avoid Battlefield versus Palutena. Battlefield and Yoshi's, because Palutena does have ladders with up air that can just 0 to death you if you get caught. She's almost like a mini Mario, or honestly I would say a worse Mario. But in a way you want to avoid that. But also Corrin definitely benefits from higher platforms as well, because being able to get those up airs very quickly. That up air on Corrin is actually arguably one of the best in the game. And I know some people are still like iffy on Corrin, like there's only 2 reps, she can't be that amazing. That up air is something serious, man. Like that thing will keep you in disadvantage for at least 45 seconds. And I would say Battlefield could be actually a good pick, dependent on how both of these two play against each other and whether or not, up air becomes the mainstay. Because as Corrin, you want to juggle as much as possible before you're able to find a kill. So whether or not Extreme is able to kind of, capitalize on more up airs and juggling situations is going to be yet to be seen in this game too, coming up here shortly.
Defense was a kind of a marquee for 2B in the early sets that they played. They're 2-0 so far, but the ability to get out of combos, in particular what sticks out to me was their very first game. They played up against a Zelda player from the side of George Washington by the name of Chicken, and there was a lot of the teleport off of the platform, slide cancel basically, right? The right. Ability to slide off, and we didn't really see that here in this first game. So I'm curious to see if that becomes something to kind of look forward to. Is that another wrinkle in the game plan for Extreme to try and deal with? Because once that blink comes through, it's really difficult to track down where 2B is going with it. Are they going to be aggressive with it? Are they going to use it exclusively in terms of getting out of disadvantage maybe? But it's something I think to watch for as we are going through. I believe picks and bans are coming through now. They're looking at... Oh no, they're looking at internet issues. Well, that's that's a whole nother thing. But we look at team composition for these two schools. William and Mary, one of these squads that has always been top 8 in EGFC, but is looking to really try and break into top 4, top 1 if they can. And they've got a pretty strong squad, and it's decently well-rounded in terms of the characters. Obviously, Palutena here for 2B. Luco, the veteran, plays Cloud and Sephiroth over the season. Ixoth on the hero, kind of a wild card pick. But then you've also seen Speed Space get some time on the Pokemon trainer. Claytron, a veteran, still waiting in the wings of this lineup on the Mewtwo and potentially the DK that we saw against University of Hawaii. Sir Winston on the Banjo. So a good kind of wide variety of characters. Don't believe we'll be seeing Reviex this week, but Reviex was one of the players that has really stepped up for William and Mary on the Greninja 3-0. So a lot of characters that have very high ceilings of execution, but also generally well-rounded enough to be able to kind of blind pick and still do decently.
Right, and kind of like what you're saying with these like high skill level, or not even high skill levels. I want to say like just high level of execution when it comes to characters. When you're playing online, sometimes that becomes like the make or break it for a game. Whether or not your inputs are coming out correctly, whether or not like you mentioned, Palutena is able to teleport cancel off of a ledge and be able to back air. Stuff like that is sometimes very difficult to do, especially given the online scenario. And I want to say that's usually the reason why we don't see a lot of those characters so relevant in the EGFC scene, actually. So usually we'll see, we've seen a lot of Kazuya's, sometimes we've seen a lot of Steve's. Sometimes we see those characters that are just kind of like, let me just throw out some moves that are safe and then, react when they come inwards and, get closer to me in neutral. So I think, like you mentioned, though, I maybe the teleport cancel becomes more apparent in this coming game, but I think it's yet to be seen. I'm curious to see what stage they pick as we head into this next round.
Ease of execution is always key in those kind of high-pressure situations, and it feels like William and Mary always have an edge in that factor, partially because of the characters that they pick. But we're getting ready, like you said, for game number 2. Town and City, the stage here, so the off-try platform, but it will be 2B getting the first combo here, the first opening, 3 nairs in a row. They go for forward air this time around. Won't be able to catch that up air, and maybe Extreme with a chance here, but that second up air, or second neutral air, just doesn't quite find the mark, so still a little bit slower pace of a game off the bat, but it is 2B with a pretty substantial advantage until that edge guard dips a little low. The down air actually connects. Extreme goes through 2B on that up B, but they'll opt to back away, and 2B will just use this auto reticle to chip away.
Yeah, no, 2B playing actually very smart right now. Like, even though it does seem kind of like a spammable option, that actual reticle is really good at just kind of creating some space and allowing you to figure out what your opponent wants right there. And right there, 2B thought they had the read on a spot dodge, but unfortunately misses just a little bit. Now Extreme kind of trying to answer a little bit more with some extra damage here. Doing more of a bit of nair instead of those up airs, but the side B gonna get a sweet spot. Not gonna kill Palutena just yet though.
Neutral air here from 2B to get back to stage. Something they didn't really do all that often in game number 1 was, using an aerial to fight their way out of the corner. And here they're able to once again find another up air to take that stock. But they linger on the ledge too long. The poke comes through and Extreme able to steal one back. Tie game yet again. And actually Extreme's got the early lead here, but here comes the nairs once again from 2B. 49% off of that forward air. Extreme will be able to grab the ledge. They use a forward air, but it trades with the back air. And 2B getting aggressive. If that toe connected, that was likely the stock, but they're able to escape for now. Side B fights through auto reticle. Extreme will get poked off stage once again. They recover high this time. Down air in, finds shield instead, which means 2B back to this edge guard situation, and that low nair will get the job done. That's 3 for 3 on the connection.
Yeah, and kind of like what you mentioned, Extreme started to go high on these recoveries, but even when going high, Extreme still opted to try to attack at a disadvantage. And 2B was ready for that and just managed to refresh the scenario, get Extreme back off the stage, and get that nair gimp that we saw earlier in game 1. So whether or not Extreme can kind of adapt to that is going to be very, very crucial, especially if Extreme wants to secure a potential next game for Marquette University here.
If you watch Extreme's movement, there's a lot of decent options. They're throwing out these aerials, the neutral air, the forward air, covering space. But again, it's just 2B kind of playing patient and realizing, hey, they're just swinging at air. Just let them do their thing, and then I'll find my opening. I'll find that window to punish. Neutral air doesn't connect on that edge guard attempt. Forward air. Oh, wow, late grab comes through from Extreme instead. Thought 2B would go for the punish. Risked it all with the up B, and he'll get forward smashed for it. Extreme on the low recovery will be able to grab the ledge. Falls down with that neutral air and is able to escape. Dash attack won't land. Back air will. 2B's off stage, but the platform comes in to help them and escort them back to center stage. 2B now holding shield. Extreme looking to find the sweet spot. Gets grabbed instead. Off stage they go. Low recovery, but that nair won't connect. Neutral air from Extreme still hunting, looking, won't find anything. 2B shuts him down with the back air. It's a 2 stock in game 2.
Yeah, and like you were mentioning earlier, right, a lot of those aerials were whiffing on Extreme's part, so Tubi was still able to just kind of play the nice and patient game and punish when necessary, and that is exactly what we saw in that game too. Right then and there, of course, we saw Extreme try to go for that up smash to finish off that stock on Tubi's part, but Tubi wasn't going to fall for it, and all Tubi needed to do was just land, get that safe back air for the win.
Extreme was just looking for any window back into the game by playing what they thought was smarter, playing, to cover the space where 2B wanted to occupy. But 2B had the read, saying, nope, I'll just sit back, wait for you to overextend instead. By putting themselves in an advantageous spot, they actually put themselves in a disadvantage there somehow. And, well, that's one way that 2B will be able to clean up that series. So, 1 stock in game number 1, 2 stock in game number 2, 5 points on the board for William and Mary, and the opening set goes to the Tribe.
For sure. So William and Mary going up 5-0, but I think who do we got here coming up next for Marquette University? Let me see here.
They could still be locking it in.
They could still be locking it in, but I'm trying to just go over the roster. But I mean, of course, that was just an awesome game. Games 1 and 2 coming out from Tubi, like we talked about earlier. What do you think? Like, I'm curious what you think of what the pool is going to be for Marquette coming up next. Like, we just saw Corrin, right? A little bit more of a, I guess you could say, a LAN-centered focused character. But, we're talking about the online meta here. So what's your pick for today? Do you think we're going to see some Halloween-esque picks maybe, or some spooky characters?
I wouldn't be shocked. I will say William and Mary are pretty consistent when it comes to their character crew, but they do have the occasional off pick here and there. I mean, right, Claytron going Mewtwo has been their bread and butter, but when circumstances change, they were going up against Small Left, the Pyramithra. They tried to roll with the Donkey Kong, a complete wild card pick. So maybe we'll see something like that. I'd be interested to see Sir Winston on the banjo. Don't get too many Banjo and Kazooie players here at EGFC, so potential to see another off pick like that. But I believe they've locked in that second member, and it's going to be Luco, who is one of the more veteran players on this team for the side of William and Mary. Often, like I said, on the Sephiroth, but last couple weeks they've been going Cloud instead, so very solid character in their own right, but also a very double-edged sword. They control the stage very well. That sword's really threatening and really hard to work through, but the moment this character's off stage, every character sees red.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of funny how much people see red as soon as they see Sephiroth off stage. But, I mean, of course, the tide can turn when that one wing comes into play, and that's usually what Sephiroths really hope for in order to get their, next level of like, okay, now I can play the game. In a sense, it's almost like a smaller version of Lucario, but I want to say more threatening because it's like Lucario with a giant sword and is a little bit more threatening.
Yeah, on the flip side, the counter pick here from Marquette is Anth. And Anth is a name that has not come up this season. So curious to see who they'll opt for or in terms of character selection. But a complete wild card here for set number 2. So a little bit of unpreparedness for the side of William and Mary, maybe, unless this is a tag that has come up in the past or a name change. Happens every so often. And, I'm going to be honest, this is not at all what I expected. It's going to be a Donkey Kong Ditto, pink versus purple, Luco versus Ant for set 2.
Hey, man, you got to enjoy it sometimes. The DK Ditto is something you got to enjoy. It's not Monkey Monday, but we can still get a little silly with it here. All right, already starting off with a back throw. Gonna go for that back air, but Anth responding with that aerial up B, which is actually really fast, and there's a lot of tech kind of explaining how it's actually really good out of a shield with a footstool out of shield as well.
Good air dodge away. Here comes the grab, walks him off stage. Good hold there on that jump, making sure they don't get forward aired. Oh, but that down air is going to cost them. They risked it all, and they don't find it. Luco will grab the early lead off the SD. 74% though So still a little bit of work here for Anth to do in order to really bring this back. They're going to have to find something. They don't have DK Punch online, and Luco is getting feisty. Those back airs nearly led to that down air. But this is one of those weird character dittos where it just feels so explosive.
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's two heavies going at each other, and whenever it's a heavy versus a heavy, this is what people usually enjoy the most when it comes to Smash as a spectator sport, because people just want to see those big punches and they want to see, those early stocks. That's why people are very fond of Incineroar as well. Oh, but the up B actually not going to connect properly for Anth. Luco just relaxing on stage here, going to get the spike. And a down smash, forgive me.
And thought they had it. They'll get the up smash here on Luco, but they thought they had something a little bit more, but instead that side B taking a second longer ends up to the stock, and oh my mercy!
Wow.
Luco goes down with the ship on the forward air and gets the spike with it, and that's game one going to the Tribe.
Yeah, Luco kind of going a little crazy with that spike. Kind of testing Anth's reaction time. It's almost like if you're if you're a little too far asleep, that forward air or maybe that down air is coming. And unfortunately, Anth just was not ready for it in the proper amount of time. And that's going to go ahead and seal the stock there for for Luco here in this game one.
And yeah, Luco's got to feel happy about getting the clip though off of the spike. Listen, like you said, the heavies are so entertaining, and I think part of it is the sound effects, right? Every hit just sounds like a massive collision, like a car crash. It's just so much damage, so much carnage. It feels like every time a move connects. And Donkey Kong, too, with the way that they're able to string together hits pretty cleanly, right? Back airs into potentially a down air is what we saw Luco do in that sequence. And then at the end there, right? Just a simple catch on a jump means that they're forced a little low, and then that full swing of the forward air, getting the spike hitbox. Does DK have the most spikes in the game? He's got a lot.
I'm pretty sure he does. It was either DK or I'm forgetting the other character. I know Ganon has a few. Of course, Falcon has a few. Falcon's like the dunking character, but I do want to say DK is the #1 spiking character in the game.
Actually, it also might be a good option. We're being told right now. Luco in the corner here. Anth has really been playing well at the start of this match, although they're at 51%. Oh, they went for the tech. They went with the tech test, and Luco comes up empty, and instead it's a forward smash that will take the stock. But I love the mix-up there from Anth.
Definitely a lot more here, and of course we did see that the missed tech coming out, but unfortunately Anth is going to go ahead and try to get that get-up attack on platform. You never want to do that versus DK, because DK is just going to go right below you and get that up smash. A little bit of shenanigans going on over here.
The helicopter blades were about to connect, but instead they end up trading. Right now, Luco in the lead. Well, nope, dead even game thanks to that forward smashes. Another forward air connects. Luco was looking for a landing. Rollback gets caught by that forward smash, and a good wait by Anth on the edge guard leads to a back air kill. So Luco down to their last stock. Low recovery. They actually clip Luco here. Forces a high recovery. If they go low, Anth has the edge guard, and that's the game. But now Anth, can they find a way out of the corner here? They use get-up attack. That was huge, even though Luco was charging up. No fear on this player is now still stuck to the corner, and they've waited just a moment too long. Anth and Luco tie game.
Yeah, those are the unfortunate parts. Sometimes you try to mix up really heavy on those recoveries, but it can always end in a moment's notice. And the donkey punch coming out from Luco's side, going for the Hail Mary, gonna land the forward air just to signify another game to win on Luco and William and Mary's part. Another spike to end the set there.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure that was 0 to death. Oh, that was brutal from Luco. Put the foot down on this series.
Literally. And it might have been, I'm not going to lie, I was focusing on the big forward air that managed to connect. I didn't know what the percents were like.
Well, we'll see it here in replay. I believe he was at about 19%, and then he gets a grab. So this is the stock, right? So he takes this stock here because of the unfortunate fade back there from Ant. But yeah, he's at 19.5, grab, up air, stays at 19.5, catches the landing with the DK punch, and then finishes game 2 like he does game 1.
Yep, and so that was a 0 to death. It was a touch of death, regardless what the percent was. It was a 0 to death because there was no percent added to that. So Luco with a strong capitalization on that game 2 win for William & Mary. I think that's going to add. I want to say that's an extra 5 points added onto it because it almost played exactly the same as the last match, whereas 1 stock apiece in game 1, and then of course the 2 stock victory in game 2. So 10-0 right here for the Tribe over the Golden Eagles right now. What a fun way to end that. I mean, it was kind of like, again, you got to have fun with the game sometimes, right?
Yeah, and these teams love to have their fun too. I mean, William & Mary, like we said, typically they stick to their 1 maybe 2 characters, but I mean it's a plentiful roster that it's gone through a lot of turnover over the years, but they've covered a lot of the cast, so they've got a wide range of characters that they can play, or at least that they have experience against. And the game's been out long enough too that once you watch enough gameplay, you can kind of translate it over and be like, all right, I know how to do that combo. It's generally the right inputs, and so it's fun to see that one there as Luco picks up another victory. That's 3 in a row for Luco. They're 3-0 this season, so good on them. Marquette, still a couple of players in the lineup. Curious to see who comes out when. The big highlight players for this team this season, Mateo on the Ridley. You don't see a lot of Ridleys just overall, and Mateo, masterful at the character, and so curious to see where they slot him in the lineup. The 1 point that Marquette has earned so far this season was on Bunboy, who's gone through 2 different characters, Shulk and Sonic, depending on the week. So a couple of different characters there, but still a general sense of the same game plan of once I'm going in, I'm holding forward, but if I'm backing away, I am running away. I'm going to buy myself a whole lot of space.
And yeah, so some of those characters that prosper really well in the online meta are characters that tend to, like you said, like I can hold forward, but let me back off a little bit and just play in this, very patient, maybe annoying, whatever you prefer, but I'm going to play in a very patient way that, might irritate a few people. But of course, like we talked about earlier, people love those heavy sets because it is practically just a game of who's going to hold forward more and who's going to seal those stocks as quickly as possible. So Luco managing to seal that one, and it looks like we're going to go ahead and get Firelick versus Ixoff coming out here. And it looks like Firelick is going to be playing Pit. So another obscure character that we don't see too often here in the online meta.
A couple more of them here in EGFC, but like you said, still not a ton of overall playtime. Ixoff, a hero player, this is their main, and been very good on this character overall. Curious to see how they'll adapt to this matchup. Well, the answer is they don't have to adapt all that much. They got a shield break here early, and this is the stock off the side B. Very good early stock there from the side of Ixoff, and William & Mary take the game 3 lead.
Yeah, and it seemed as though Ixoff just kind of caught on to the fact that Firelick was going to throw out a few more forward smashes and shield, and then whenever Firelick was just going to go ahead and shield again, Ixoff was just ready for that shield break. So, oh my gosh, the damage is just adding up so quickly here. Firelick getting a nice back air though. Has to manage to seal the stock here. Ixoff is off stage. Oh, but wow, I thought that up B was actually going to clip the ledge, but he manages to not actually get there.
Somehow, just barely short there on that distance. Good forward air with Accelerate online, but I'm not taking the stock quite yet, but they will catch that landing. Lots of lag on that up B, and they're able to track it down and get that stock off the board thanks to the forward smash. So, imagine at 0, right? That's the way this character goes, though. They risked it all. Flame Slash will do a lot of damage. They see Kamikaze, but they're going to go for Snooze instead. They miss it, but they get the crit instead. And Ixoth with a 2-stock in game 1.
The fact that Ixoth missed the first one, right? That's kind of like just rolling the dice, right? That was rolling the dice and unfortunately getting 1 and 1. And then but the fact that this game was just a lot of crazy RNG, right? Of course, Ixoth being very smart and taking the stock with the full-powered side B instead of potentially a forward smash that, if rolled properly, right, it might not even kill at that percent. So really good adaptation there. Of course, the 1-stock we saw, the up B not able to connect. And then I believe it was that early up B that led to the second stock being taken for Firelick right here. Tried to mix up the landing a little bit, but kind of held to the right, and Ixoth was able to react just in enough time. And yeah, just a snooze, missed 1, critical 2. That is a roll and a half right there. That's like rolling a 6 and a 6, man. Like you gotta go gambling with that, Ixoth, if you're of age, of course. If you're
had to get the bad roll out of the way so that the good one would come through on the final play there. And yeah, those crits are disgustingly strong. I mean, you just saw, right? Killed at what, 40, 50 or so, and it's like getting sweet spots, but stronger. And so Ixoth able to extend the lead here, make it 12-0 William and Mary. They're looking to see if they can take game 2 as well. Curious to see if we'll see a character switch up on the side of Marquette. And we will. They're going Olimar, and we're going to Lilat. And I'll be honest, I think it's the first time we've seen this stage, and they immediately get bounced off the bat, which makes this matchup a nightmare for Freylich.
Oh, for sure. And just 2 up smashes to start already. And Ixoth just, at this point, just juggling. Not going to kill with the kaboom, though, but next hit could definitely spell doom here for Firelick. And like you mentioned, right, that bounce just kind of eliminates Olimar's entire gameplay. And, yep, just a real quick hit, and Olimar is gone, and it's only 13% added on. Dash attack here to start off the second stock, or start off Firelick's second stock. Oh my god. Flame Slash yet again.
That early, too. I mean, I know that move is strong, but still. Oh, they went for Hatchet, man. They tried to catch the roll there from Freylich, but not this time around. Running low on MP, though. Won't be able to find that sweet spot quite yet. Freylich, no Pikmin right now. Oh, tempting fate. Tempting fate right now is Freylich with a couple of these options.
Yeah, I think, oh my god, I think Ixoth is just kind of playing with the cards here. Ixoth is swimming in the money right now and just betting on everything and ends it with a thwack. Oh my gosh. To seal up the free stock, Ixoth lands the thwack, which is what I'm pretty sure they were going for the whole match.
And they send Freylich to an icy grave off of that freeze as well. Flame Slash taking 2 stocks here from Ixoth, but I mean, I believe Freylich was going random, and in terms of the roulette wheel, this is like Ixoth bet it all on green and was landing it, whereas Freylich just could not find anything. But Thwack getting the job done inside there to give them another. Was that a 2-stock or a 3-stock? Either way, the score 3-stock. Excuse me. 17-0 means that William and Mary, they do have the victory this week. We still play out the final 2 sets. Got to give everyone their time on stream here, and I mean, it's William and Mary players doing William and Mary things. They're a very consistent squad, and Marquette, decent game plans, decent strategies, but the execution of William and Mary right now, they are on point with finding their options, and just when everything's coming up green, it always feels good.
Oh yeah, every single time they hit green, they just went full speed ahead, managed to, like you said, get those extra points and nabbing their win over Marquette here. And it's kind of funny because I feel like you said Violet may have went random, but it kind of sucks when Hero just does a random a little bit better than you can sometimes. So Ixoth with another point of emphasis here on that win, and I think we're going to be getting Sir Winston III for William and Mary here for this fourth set, and I believe Marquette is still trying to figure out their lineup coming up here shortly.
We'll see who they opt to send in next. Sir Winston III, the banjo player that I mentioned earlier, only played in one series so far this season, as it is only week 5. So we're still kind of in the early parts of the year, but it is the, I guess, second half of the fall split here, where that midway point is week 8. So players trying to get more time here, and Sir Winston, one of them. This will be their second set. They dropped their opening set to University of Hawaii in really a kind of long and grueling set. I believe they played Gardenia. I'll have to go back and double check that. But it was a very projectile-based set going up against Snake for the majority of it, which, that type of matchup, Banjo versus Snake, I mean, grenades galore, obviously, but it was just kind of a longer and difficult set for Sir Winston to try and play out. So they'll be trying to bounce back from that as we look to Marquette's side. Still waiting to see who that fourth player is in their lineup. We've seen Lotus the past 2 weeks on the Bayonetta and Joker, Bunboy, who we mentioned earlier, on the Shulk and Sonic, and Mateo, the Ridley player, still potentially players that we could see this week.
Right. And, Ridley's another one of those characters that, again, you seldom see online. Ridley's a big body character that can get comboed just immensely, and sometimes it can be very frustrating to, end up being on that bad side of, being combo fooding, essentially, right? So I think we're ready to get this next match started, so we're going to see what the names are here. We're going to have Bunboy piloting the Crom here, forgive me, Nope, forgive me. That is Lotus piloting the Crom, and Sir Winston III not going for Banjo like you mentioned before, but instead going for the DDD.
Yeah, interesting to see. I haven't seen a DDD in a while outside of the University of Hawaii and their King DDD. Sir Winston just setting up the wall right now with the Gordo and walking forward. It's going to be up to Lotus to try and turn this situation around. They're going to have to shield that forward smash and counter. Maybe not quite the option they were looking for, but forward tilts and Gordos seem to be just stuffing out Lotus. They're looking for a way in, and they won't find one. The up tilt will get the kill on that opening stop.
Yeah, and Sir Winston just kind of patiently waddling around and throwing out that Gordo, because that Gordo just does a lot of work in this matchup. Oh, the back throw here, another Gordo going to come out. I'm going to have to take that punishment, but the side smash actually not coming out just yet. Good build up of damage here for Lotus to start it off. But that forward tilt is going to be very difficult for Lotus to deal with, simply because it is a huge disjoint. It's very hard to contest when you're a swordy who is fighting against almost a bigger sword.
Yeah, while Crom is a swordy, it is one of the shorter swords in the game. But you do have that, in theory, speed advantage, but Lotus is struggling with the game plan at the moment. Landing counter will help them get in. They try to find a landing Sir Winston, and they're swinging for the fences with this forward smash, but isn't able to get around it. Another counter comes through. Won't be able to take the stock quite yet. Sir Winston tried to punish with the forward tilt. The side B actually danced them through King Dedede, and somehow off the back of that, Sir Winston is going to escape and get the stock. They're looking to get even more extra credit here. Forward tilt will knock them back. Gordo won't land. Another counter in seems to be the answer. Run off forward air, and they won't get Sir Winston with that up B either. They risked it all and came up empty. And it's a 3-stock in game 1.
Yep. Risked it all for the biscuit there, but that Penguin is a very hungry boy and was already closer to the biscuit than thought. But right here, I just want to note that Lotus was kind of struggling to get in versus these Gordos here, trying to find a way around them, and unfortunately, every single time Lotus decided to jump over them, Sir Winston just knew to immediately anti-air, right? And in the situations after this first stock here, it almost was like the same situation over and over again, but sometimes Lotus was able to actually get through with a counter if Sir Winston was late to the punch here, like right here, right? So, but unfortunately, Crom's momentum just does not allow him to go that far off of stage without SD.
Unfortunately for Lotus, like you said, Their recovery on Crom, a little lackluster. Got to be careful with it when you go off stage. And Sir Winston, one game away from taking series number 4. We'll see if they can get things rolling here. Good damage landed early. Similar facet to last game, where it's a high dose of forward tilts and Gordos, and all of them landing right now. 103. Oh, up B. Different option there from Lotus to try and get through. Knocks the Gordo back, and they will get a little bit of damage on life. They're able to roll around the first up tilt, but not the second. Sir Winston tracks him down and has a substantial stock lead now.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, right, we're seeing some of those different options come in handy from Lotus here. Some of them working, some of them not. But that up B is one of the, prime reasons why Crom does so well versus specific characters, right? It's frame 6 out of shield, adds a lot of damage and kind of sets Crom up for some very good killing potential here. But every single time Lotus wants to get that board smash happening, Sir Winston is just knowing that it's coming, manages to get back to stage though.
They're actually knocking the Gordo back. I like the coverage from Lotus right now. They're actually doing a pretty good job of picking out where Sir Winston is going to be and generally covering them with an aerial, a forward tilt, and they just haven't found a way to take the stock quite yet. It's been a lot of hits across the stage. And that Gordo will fight through the up B at the top part. Good counter here. Still not enough. Traversing the whole stage. Ran low. Ledge trump here. Oh, but he gets trumped instead. Lotus had to air dodge back, and yet another up tilt takes the stock. And Sir Winston maybe holding on here. Yup, no rage built up, and counter will not be able to take it from that side of the stage quite yet.
And right now, Lotus just kind of, unfortunately, not able to find any sort of option that's going to take this first stock. So Winston just kind of playing at a distance where it's like, I know how you're going to approach. And the only damage that's been coming out from Lotus is those counters. But again, Winston just knows to keep continuously answer with that up tilt. And wait, okay, the Gordo actually going to seal that first stock coming in here from Lotus.
That hammer nearly connected. That one will, but not enough damage on it. Neutral air will intercept it. Single hits a side B, and oh my mercy, that's a big hammer, and that's gonna come right down on the head of Crom, and that's gonna be game number 2 going to Sir Winston.
Sir Winston just playing at a proper position on stage, commanding that position and not allowing Lotus to escape by any means, right? Every single time Lotus tried to move, there was always some projectile or some option from Sir Winston that didn't allow Lotus to, even play the game. Right there, all these ledge traps, going for reading the jumps as well, trying to catch Lotus jumping a little too much, and finally catches Lotus jumping yet again with the forward smash there that kills frighteningly early as well.
That is an angry penguin.
Yeah, just look at his face, man. He's like just clenching his teeth like, I am going to eliminate you and everything that you exist with. So, yeah, another commanding lead from Sir Winston and an additional point advantage going to William and Mary to the tribe.
Extending their lead over the Golden Eagles, and a win that I think is well needed for this squad. They had their struggles against University of Hawaii, but outside of that, they've been pretty good about getting these solid victories, but their upcoming schedule is where things get tough. Next week, they get University of Texas Arlington. They still have to play against the University of Delaware, I believe, this season. They get UConn at week 7, and then week 8, the final one of the split, they have a bye week. So there's still some tough opponents for them to go up against this season. So for them to get a big point victory here is the sign of good things for William and Mary and the tribe as we get ready for this 5th and final set. We'll get those players locked in momentarily. Actually, they've come through now. It's Semi RS going up against Bun Boy.
And that's what I got a little confused of earlier. I saw the Bun Boy tag and thought it was Bun Boy, so forgive me, Lotus, for that mispronunciation. But yeah, we are going to get those two. And you mentioned that Bun Boy played, I'm trying to remember the characters. I have a little bit of a short memory. So,
excuse me, Shulk and Sonic.
There we go, Shulk and Sonic, yes. And so I'm going to try to make a call out here. I think we're going to see the Sonic instead of the Shulk. Personally, because Sonic is just a very good character, right? One of the top characters that we see in both metas, online and offline, has so many options that you can run away when necessary and a lot of frames to work with, safe on a lot of moves. That spin dash is something else, especially online, very difficult to punish. So I think we're definitely going to see the Sonic come out on the side of Bun Boy here, to hopefully give Marquette some points on the board here.
I believe we've only seen Corrin from the side of semi-RS for William and Mary, so potentially Sonic Corrin, potentially Shulk Corrin, or maybe we get to see more random picks. I mean, the Donkey Kong Ditto was fun. Maybe they'll come up with something along those lines. Again, Bun Boy, one of the few point scorers for the side of Marquette. We'll see if they can get some more points on the board here. Marquette, like we mentioned, bit of a struggle this season, 0-3 entering this week, but I mean, it's a squad with a high ceiling, and they've also gone through a decent amount of turnover. Players of old have kind of graduated and moved on, and so they're still, trying to fill the shoes of some of their veterans. And Bun Boy looks to try and do just that. They're opting for the hero this time around, and it's Semi on the Corrin as that is their tried and true, and they're having none of this hero right now. 71% early lead, and they're trying to find the sweet spots on these side Bs.
Yeah, and those are the side Bs that we were talking about. That range that semi-RS is playing at is what can seal stocks, right? Going right back to that same spot, throwing out the forward smash, throwing out the side B, hoping to catch that recovery. But Bun Boy unable to recover, and semi-RS immediately going to go ahead and take a 0 to death. But Bun Boy here answering with 20%, just a little bit here. Going to go ahead and press zoom, get out of disadvantage a little bit. Gets another critical too.
Semi's up to now 66. Bounce online here, so Semi won't be able to use a neutral B. Oh my mercy. That's going to be a critical hit on the forward smash, and that's going to be a tie game just like that. No MP really remaining. Well, just enough for Magic Burst, but not a massive hitbox there, as there's not a lot of magic left. And so Bun Boy will search for more here. Can they find anything? They're getting stuffed out right now by these back airs and aerials that Semi-RS is just continually throwing out. Another back air lands. Do they find a connection on this down tilt? No, there's no need to attempt the 2-frame. Bun Boy's air dodge doesn't reach the ledge, and it's back to a 2-1 lead.
Back to a 2-1 lead here, but I mean, if there's any character that can kind of drum up some points here, it is Hero with that crazy, ridiculous RNG effect, and Bun Boy going to try to answer to this disadvantageous position here.
Spacing on these aerials, Semi covering a lot of where Bun Boy could move to, but not actually touching the shield, and so they'll be able to escape for the moment. Went for Hatchet, man. Went for it all. Oh, tried to catch him DIing out with that down air. Like the idea from Semi-RS. Accelerate now on. That's another quick bit of damage dealt to Semi. Oh, okay, I thought he was going to do whack.
Yeah, I thought too.
Covered it for so long.
Yeah, I thought it was either going to be that or that Bun Boy was going to go ahead and wait personally and then just reset the menu. But trying to go ahead and get this second stock here. Ooh, gonna go ahead and up B high, but yeah, not necessarily the best option there, as Semi-RS was just ready for the punish, just had to wait. And Hero doesn't have a lot of mobility out of that up B, so it was very easy to track and seal that game one with that very powerful up smash.
Not a ton of drift to that up B, like you said. Bun Boy only able to take one stock. They did get it off of a critical hit, but Semi, outside of that, really solid movement, solid control. Felt generally like their spacing was just on point. They knew where to be. And seemingly we're jumping right into game number 2 here of our 5th and final set. If Semi wins it, it will be a complete sweep for the side of William and Mary. Can Bunboy get Marquette back on the board here? Let's find out. Run it back to PS2, he says. And Flameslash gets immediately stuffed out by Corin's projectile. 5% dealt. Bang gets blocked. 15 now. Still fighting their way back. That down air only finding shield. But Semi continuing to kind of control the airspace here in this matchup.
Yeah, and I'm kind of trying to see if it's... I've seen a lot of dash attacks coming out from Bunboy, and I'm curious whether or not those are meant to be forward tilts on shield. But unfortunately, Bunboy is landing a lot on shield, a lot on Semi-RS's shield, and it's allowing Semi-RS to get a lot of these grabs in advantage. Oh, countering the snooze instead.
I'll be honest, that's a new one for me. I've never seen snooze get countered. The Semis having none of it. They run up and get a forward smash. And it's Hatchet Man from Halo. And it's not a crit this time around, but it's a good deal of damage dealt. 65 now. Down smash won't connect. They grabbed it thrown off stage. Hovering for a bit. Down tilt will do a little bit extra damage. Oomph now picked by Bunboy, but they are being swung at by Semi. Another forward air will knock them away. Sizz will connect, but a trade of projectiles. The up B is just too far out of range to get them back to the ledge, and so it is back to a tie game in terms of the stock count.
Yeah, no, I mean, Bunboy is actually doing a pretty good job, but is trying to overextend a lot on these like forward smashes and these dash attacks, and that's what Semi-RS is playing around. But the back air is going to steal the stock on Bunboy's part. Semi-RS now at second, or 2 stocks ahead here. Bunboy has to find an answer here if they hope not to get their team swept.
Trying to find something. Oomph online. Won't be able to connect that first hit. Accelerate now picked. That's 2 of the buffs used, but now they're off stage and their jump gets caught out. Is it zoom or up B? It's going to be up B this time. They'll be able to make it back to the stage, but how much time do they have? Thwack stalls them out. Semi, a little bit of fear put in them after that projectile comes through, but now just looking for any opening, looking for a way to end this one if they can. They fall off stage and they used all their magic to do so. They will plummet to their demise, and Semi will take game 2.
Yeah, what an unfortunate way to end that game 2. Sometimes when you're using a lot of mana, you have to pay attention to it. Otherwise, you don't have a chance to recover anymore. And that is the way the set is going to end. That's the way the cookie crumbles here. Unfortunately for Bunboy, that is going to be a sweep on William and Mary's side. Great job actually trading with that. I think that was a sizzle, if I'm not mistaken, as well from Semi-RS's play. And yeah, just unable to recover, man. Very unfortunate situation there. Only 5%. I think you need a total of like 8% or so.
I can't believe that Semi pushed him off stage. The character just being in the general presence of that ledge and that animation of him getting that next buff is what did him in. That is I'll be honest, that's a new one. But we take those if you're William and Mary. 30-0, the final score here of this series. And again, very solid win. Congrats to William and Mary. Marquette, I mean, back to the drawing board for next week, but kind of a funner series from them. Good to see both sides having fun with it.
Oh, for sure, man. You always want to have fun playing the game, right? If you're not having fun, then what are you playing it for? And I hope both teams manage to have their fun. I hope both teams manage to learn from whatever situations they had here. Of course, that is why they're playing the game. They're hoping to learn more so they can take their talent to the next level and continue going forward, whether or not they're doing major tournament circuits or whatever it may be. So, but amazing job from William and Mary, always coming ready to play, playing at their top level. And Marquette thinking definitely have some going back to the drawing board, as you said, but having some video and evidence to kind of look into and see, all right, how can we learn from this? Where can we go from here? What should I have done here? And hopefully getting back to that to practice mode and figuring out what to do in those situations that they might have crumbled on in this set here.
Marquette next couple weeks. They've got back-to-back games against Hawaii for weeks 6 and 7, and they end the split with the final match of the fall against the defending league champions of Delaware. So a tough road for them, but one that they'll be a little bit more prepared for, and we'll get to see, I think, some newer faces as the season comes along. We got to see Anth for the first time. Fun to see a new face join the roster, and like we said, it's Marquette kind of learning and growing. They've got some veterans, but they've also got a high ceiling with this squad. So excited to see how they'll fare in the future. We already kind of covered William & Mary's schedule, and they got the victory here this week, 30-0 over Marquette. I believe that we're going to cut to a short break to get ready for our next set coming up to wrap up the night after this. Is no interview for this week, unfortunately. When we come back, it will be the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors taking on the UConn Huskies. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll be back after this.
I hope y'all are having a wonderful night and having a happy Halloween. But we're going to get to more of this spooky action here with the University of Hawaii Rainbow Warriors versus the University of Connecticut Huskies. How are we feeling today, Soy?
I'm feeling great. Happy Halloween to all our new viewers tuning in for this final match of the night. And this one should be a fun one. Hawaii undefeated on the season so far. Only a handful of players have played, but all of them have looked fantastic. Meanwhile, UConn still searching for their first win, but I really like the lineup and the palette of characters that they've got in their pockets. So let's see who gets off to an early start here. Darth Wampa on the link going up against Wrath and the Pyramithra. So Wrath, we've seen him go through a couple different characters, Pyramithra being one of them, Palutena and Joker also in the mix, but Darth Wampa, the tried and true Link, putting in a lot of work early here.
Yeah. About to say, Wrath was seeming off to a good start, but right now Darth Wampa just playing along the ledge really well here, not allowing Wrath has literally been on the ledge for the last, I want to say 40 seconds. It felt like it's actually only 35, but now Wrath able to respond just a little bit more, trying to go for that down air, but a down air from themselves coming out from Darth Wampa, able to take this stock here very shortly.
Good throw off stage here. Bomb will connect, and Wrath air dodges after the hit. Won't be able to get back to that ledge, so it will be a lead for Hawaii and Darth Wampa. 83%. Bomb detonates, so no combo extension there for Wrath. Early upbeat will help get some damage online. Now Pyra is out, potentially able to take this stock here. Even though Link is on the heavier side at 100%, it won't matter. Pyra's sword is just that damaging. Early switch here back to Mithra in order to recover. Down smash used, trying to catch Darth Wampa coming through that platform, but won't find the mark quite yet. And the dance continues. Darth Wampa's defense holding pretty strong, though.
Yeah, no, I mean, the defense is very, very powerful here, but that up air coming out from Pyra on Wrath's portion there, that's going to be what is very crucial to land here, is you want to be able to get Link up in the air. Don't allow him to use the projectiles as much as he usually does, and then, of course, get back to stage in a safe manner. Going for that side B, that's going to be a pretty big punish. Again, off stage again. Off stage is Pyra Mithra. Very bad portion you don't want to be in. Trying to get that tech chase going, but Wrath unable to get too much damage here, keeping Link in the air here.
To keep them there for only a moment. Boomerang, not going to be able to connect. Good shield from Wrath. Down tilt as well. Into neutral B. Tried to catch maybe a little bit more lax of a recovery there. Switch to Pyra here. They dipped too low. They went for down air, I believe it was, and the lag of that move just ends up costing them. So Wrath down to their last stock here. Can Mithra put in the work? Can they get Darth Wampa up to kill percentage? Darth Wampa able to get some combos of their own going. Already have Wrath up to 59 here. Grabbing the forward throw. They get the chase down in the forward smash. Up B, forcing a low recovery here from Darth Wampa. Down tilt, air dodge, parry on the dash attack, but Wrath can't get the punish. A second parry comes through. Still unable to connect on Darth Wampa. 80% now onto Wrath, but they have stage control until the up tilt from Darth Wampa. Bomb goes off stage and Pyra is out. Down air will only find a shield. Arrow on the reversal. Boomerang from Darth Wampa. And it's just a hail of projectiles that Wrath cannot find their way through.
Now, Wrath is trying to get through that barrage of projectiles, trying to break down that wall and hopefully find a reward in that. Gets that forward air. That's the first reward we've seen. Going really deep out there with the forward air. Managed to catch Darth Wampa, lacking just a little bit. Now has to be sure not to get comboed too much. Doesn't get the up air. Off stage here again for Wrath. Going for that side B. It's a very bad position, and the bomb is what's going to be the do in for Wrath. Darth Wampa taking it game 1 with the 1-stock lead, so that is only going to be 1 point here.
1 stock win there for Darth Wampa, but overall, pretty controlled. The defense of Darth Wampa, ever notable. The bomb taking that first stock there, just intercepting Wrath's recovery. Wrath had their moments, though, in this series where they were able to fight back, but it was just a little too late. This being another example, right? The down air wasn't a half bad idea, but you got to either land on platform or just be aware of how fast you're falling with Pyra in that instance as they hit the shield and go right off the side of the stage.
At that point, yeah, fast fall, unfortunately, but at that point, you almost want to try to keep your drift, not fast fall, and cross up here, right? Because you can see that star that indicates the fast fall. And of course, when you're that high, that fast fall is more than likely going to kill you, especially if you're not keeping aware of the distance of the, of course, of your character, and especially if the other character is hogging lead, right? Because we do have a collision in this game. So right then and there, Wrath was just unable to continue here. And here, just the bomb, signaling that death there, the red screen of death. Going to go to Darth Wampa, but Wrath now swapping out to Palutena, another high-tier character that is, of course, well-rounded and doesn't suffer too much from the off-stage edge guarding as we saw in that first game.
And a character that Wrath has played before, so, kind of rotating between the top tiers has been Wrath's MO in terms of character selection. But Darth Wampa, no stranger to some of these top-tier characters, and we'll have to see how they fare. So far, approaching that 30-second mark, relatively even in terms of percentage. Good opening here from Wrath will help get some damage. They wait on that last aerial, though. Could have had another chip on and could have put Darth Wampa off stage. Explosive Flare will find nothing. Auto Reticle will help intercept some of those projectiles Wrath puts out, but so far, much more patient of a game from both players, and Wrath, I think, the benefactor of it.
Yeah, no, for sure, but right there, doing a good enough drift outside of Palutena's, punish range and able to make it back to stage there, but good coverage on the spot dodge right there. Wrath with the up smash, able to seal the first stock here. To keep going in this game, I want to say Wrath has to be aware of where that bomb is going to be. He can't exactly try to combo Link with his own bomb because that bomb is plus, meaning if you throw the bomb at Link, Link is going to be actionable before you are actionable. So at this point, Wrath is going to have to know when that bomb does come out, you want to get rid of it and just avoid it at all times.
There are a lot more forward airs here, too. Ooh, stringing in some forward airs on this Nair train as well. Fancy from Wrath. And they're getting a lot of mileage off the back of it. Down tilt, dash attack. Darth Wampa's off stage. Not sure if they have a jump either.
Wow.
And they'll get spiked for it. Wrath goes deep. And just like that, 127 on the Wrath. It's a 3-1 stock lead. And look at the chase down. All that defense, all that patience being thrown out the window.
Yeah, no, literally. Oh my god, literally the tracking on Wrath is impeccable. Absolutely every single time Darth Wampa thinks that they are okay and ready to just jump into the next stage of the game, Wrath is there to initiate that Wrath and just continue the punishment here.
Wrath gets a grab here, back throw. And looking for another down air, and they forced an air dodge out of Darth Wampa. The fear factor kicking in on Halloween, and Wrath is going to push us to game 3.
Yeah, it's very crazy to think about when you say Halloween. You don't expect the character to instill the most fear to be Palutena of all characters, right? But just an amazing job playing into certain options here, knowing the spot dodge is coming, covering it with the up smash here. That is going to do it for the first stock. And then just the overall just movement and overall playthrough coming out from Wrath here. Just the down tilt into the dash attack, the down air, knowing that Link is exploitable at that point, right? It's not too hard to react to Link, you know, bam. And it collided too, so that trade is oftentimes worth it. You gotta go out versus Link. Don't be scared of the up B. You gotta just sometimes go out there and spike it.
Huge stocks there from Wrath. I mean, a 3 stock from them. I believe that's the first 3 stock we've seen of the season from the side of UConn, but Wrath turning on the Jets there. And I said at the beginning of that game, it felt like the patient play that was benefiting Darth Wampa was starting to trend in favor of Wrath towards the end there. But then Wrath with the complete pace change just gave Darth Wampa no time to set up. Those aerials, those projectiles, you know, nothing able to cleanly connect or land and buy Darth Wampa the time and space to set up that defense. And Wrath taking full advantage of it with that runoff down air and then the pressure off stage. It was a magnificent turnaround.
For sure. And one thing I want to note is that there's been a lot of like Pyramithra co-mains who also just pilot Palutena, right? Like I can name quite a few of them here on the West Coast, but I'm pretty sure you could name quite a few of them there where you're at too, Soy. But so I guess the counterplay here is to go the more frame data heavy Link and, you know, try to match the momentum that Palutena has. And Young Link is definitely the character that can allow that to happen. Young Link is very gifted and privileged with the frame data that he has, able to combo and obscene amounts, able to combo off his projectiles even more. And virtually every time Young Link touches you, it should be a combo starter.
So far, even off the start here, Wrath, good tracking right now on the movement. And, you know, like you said, a lot of the bread and butter stuff that Link does, Young Link also has. But like you said, the combo game also a little bit cleaner in theory. But right now, Darth Wampa has still really struggled to get that combo game going. It's been mostly one and done. That follow-up of things like the forward air and up air has been well DI'd by Wrath, and so they're able to evade some of those combos. Able to get out of the corner here momentarily with only a handful of damage dealt to them, but they do land on the bomb. They do get hit by that forward air, and it nearly costs them the stock. That bomb intercepting, Wrath will air dodge around it. Neutral air to cover space, won't find anything. Darth Wampa with Sage control, arrow lands, won't find the up air. Wrath able to get out of these tricky situations defensively, but who will find this first stock here? Forward tilt, no grab punish. This time the up tilt gets punished by the down smash. Darth Wampa and Hawaii have the lead.
You know what's crazy is I think if that were any other of the Link, or maybe not, if that was normal Link, that up tilt would have landed and probably netted Palutena the kill, but Young Link able to roll right behind Palutena and steal the stock with that down air. Now Darth Wampa with a good position right here. Up a stock, not exactly a kill percent just yet from the back air. As I say so. Good job on the weight too.
Yeah, great patience there. Love the idea from Wrath, but it's going to get punished, and they will find a grab in the back throw, so down goes Darth Wampa's opening stock. Still, pretty significant lead that Wrath is already cutting into, but maybe an opening here for Darth Wampa. Jabs come through, it's the gentleman instead. Down smash, I love the ideas here from Darth Wampa on these, you know, smash attacks that we don't typically see. When you think of Link, you're thinking of the up smash, the multi-hits like the forward smash too, but it's the down smash that has been putting in work here for Darth Wampa and making Wrath think a little bit harder, but there's a good nair into back air, good coverage as well. Both will upbeat to the ledge here, but it will be Darth Wampa's up smash that connects first. Wrath holding center stage best they can, gets shielded, gets punished, and Darth Wampa retakes the lead.
Yeah, and the taunt coming out from Darth Wampa too. It's kind of crazy, like we talked about, right? Because you mentioned the down smash coming into play for Darth Wampa really crucially here in this game 3. But some of these smash attacks, you have to be aware of how risky they are, right? When you're throwing out a smash attack, it's a smash attack for a reason. It doesn't have a lot of recovery frames. It has a lot of end lag, right? So you have to be aware of when you throw out that risk factor, you could end up punished and you could end up with your stock being taken. And right now, Wrath, on their last stock here for this game 3, Darth Wampa playing around the corner here, just gonna go ahead and whiff punish. The forward smash not gonna take it. Wrath still alive. Another down smash.
Coverage is clean here from Darth Wampa, 141, and they'll just run up and forward tilt, and that will do the trick. They survived a handful of smash attacks, but that sword is just too strong, and it will be Darth Wampa taking the opening series here for Hawaii.
Amazing adaptations from both sides here, man. It was really crazy to think about right here. Right, look at that, right? Barely misses with that up tilt, and then Darth Wampa able to steal the stock with the down air. And right here, gotta know that that down air is sometimes safe if Young Link decides to just go straight down into the floor, right? Does that, tries to punish with an up smash, but Young Link is actionable and can just catch you lacking. 1, 2, 3, you're done for, right? So you have to be aware of those situations there. And of course, again, the coverage with down smash, knowing to just kind of dash back and forth and then just dash forward and forward tilt, right? That dash back and forth was also very smart, of course, because Darth Wampa was basically playing with the idea like, hey, I'm going to pretend I'm going to try to attack you while you're on ledge, so you get lulled to sleep and you think you're going to have a chance to jump forward and punish me for attacking you. But really, it's just a mind game. I'm going to walk up and punish you for trying to punish me. So Darth Wampa played immaculately right there. Great adaptation coming out from Darth Wampa, and that's going to seal University of Hawaii that 5 points to get this 2-point advantage over the Connecticut Huskies.
That taunt, too, also noteworthy. That is a sign of confidence for a player that I've brought this up a couple of times in previous Hawaii broadcasts. Darth Wampa 1-1 on the season, but their record I don't think is indicative of how strong this player really is. You look at their strength of schedule, I mean, they're going up against some of the top players of some of these other teams, so they are a battle-tested veteran. To see them get 3-stocked was shocking, but great players find ways to bounce back, and that's just what Darth Wampa did. And that taunt was the download complete taunt, I guess, in game number 3. So because of that 3-stock, Hawaii still holding a lead, but not by all that much. Just 2 points now, 5-3. One of the odder score lines you'll see out of an opening series, but it does make the next couple sets very, very interesting, as Hawaii, they'll have to select their next player, and then UConn, the Huskies, will get their chance to counterpick.
Oh, for sure. And, that's the crazy part is, we're seeing a great amount of talent from both, sides here. And that opening set, opens up the door for, oh my God, like there's not a huge advantageous position for either side here. So the tide can change back and forth here, and it could just go back and forth until the final one. We never know, but that's the amazing part about these two teams here. But I think going forward, we're going to see Thermalax coming out from the University of Hawaii versus Kuyan from Connecticut. And forgive me if I'm pronouncing those names wrong. Please let me know if I need to correct the way I'm pronouncing them.
We'll roll with it, but Thermalax and Kuyan, the players, like you mentioned, stepping into the ring. Thermalax, one of the few undefeated players on the Hawaii roster, 2-0. They've earned 10 total points in those victories so far. Looking very strong on the King DDD. On the flip side, Kuyan is one of the few players for the side of UConn that has a set win overall. A couple of players on this UConn squad have points, but are still searching for their first set victory. Kuyan's got their first one, 1-2 so far this season, and on a character that we haven't seen in a while here in EGFC, the Zero Suit Samus.
Zero Suit is definitely one of those that you don't see a lot online or just in this league in general. But it's funny because I fought like 8 of them online the other day. I don't know why I was on Elite Smash at 11 p.m. at night. Don't judge me, okay? But I just wanted to see. I wanted to test my mic, and unfortunately, the only thing that got tested was my patience. So we're gonna see whether or not Zero Suit is one of those characters that test patience here in an EGFC, and whether or not that's going to be the next character we see as well in this next set.
Interested to see how Kuyan does. Thermalax is a player that is, like we mentioned, on the King DDD. We've also, I believe, seen Mario in the past from them, and just in case the DDD goes sideways. But the DDD seems to be their tried and true, and they're a player that I think that this roster in particular puts a lot of emphasis on. I mean, there was you flash back to season 3, where they kind of got their start not in the regular season, but in the postseason, in conference championships, when they needed those victories to try and qualify for league championships. It was Thermalax who they were depending on for wins, despite having not played, and he was able to do just that. He was able to get a handful of victories, and he's been a staple name to the roster ever since. And UConn on the flip side, we've talked about it a little bit, but this is a squad that's gone through a lot of changes this year. Last year, a lot of the kind of older faces have moved on or graduated. Some of the players for them have, there's some shoes to fill here. And to see Kuyan on the ZSS, intriguing, right? Because like we mentioned, not a lot of ZSS players here at EGFC. You'd have to go all the way back to season 2, where he had Mississippi State on Mr. Man. You had William and Mary had one, Jafaldo, way back when. So it was a long time ago that we've seen this character. But ZSS is one of those characters that I always feel like there's an X factor about them, a playmaking ability. I feel like when ZSS wins, if they win big, it's not because of the character matchup, it's because the player outread the other player. It's that is kind of the general sense I feel like when you see a ZSS on screen.
Oh, for sure. And I think that exactly what you mentioned is why certain players think that ZSS isn't as good as she actually is, right? People like to argue that ZSS isn't anywhere near top 30 and that she's a very bad character, but I like to argue hell no, right? Because ZSS has a whole lot of options. ZSS is very hard to track, right? When you think about tracking mobility, how a character is able to accelerate and decelerate, and just how quickly you have to react to punish a character, ZSS is one of those characters where if you're not constantly being aware of her advantage position or just even her disadvantage, right, with that flip kick, flip jump, forgive me, it's just so hard to punish her sometimes, especially when she's just continuously zeroing you out and continuously just walling you out with either her paralyzer, or whether she's just keeping you out of range with her whip using Nair. It's just very hard for certain characters to battle her, and you have to play this game of patience, like I mentioned earlier, right? Where it's okay, keep going. Maybe throw out a heavy, risky move like Paralyzer, or maybe try to throw out your side B so I can punish that and get some decent damage. So I think ZSS is one of those characters that's very pilotable and very efficient, well-rounded. But like you said, it depends on the player with how well can they use the character, and how predictable can you be. So those mixes are going to be very crucial here if Thermalax needs to. You know what? Scrap everything I just said. I just heard we're gonna get Marth instead of ZSS. So Kuyan is gonna be going Marth versus the DDD instead of ZSS. So whatever I just said, just kind of in one ear, right out the other. We're just gonna go ahead and continue on. But Marth is actually one of my favorite characters to watch in this game. That's what I'll say. He's just fundies in its base form, and I love fundamentals. I love watching. I just like sorties too. I'm not gonna lie. So it's going to be interesting if Thermalax decides to go DDD, because it is DDD can be combo food to a lot of characters, and I think Marth can be one of them sometimes.
Yeah, this a very double-edged sword type of matchup, but in a very odd sense, because DDD is a big body who could die very early to things like the Marth Tipper, right? All those Tipper hitboxes could potentially kill extremely early on King DDD, and that sword also does a pretty good job of combating Gordo, which is an intricate part of DDD's kit. Right. But on the flip side, like you mentioned, Marth is tall enough and floaty enough that Thermalax could potentially, roll through this. If they get an opening, I mean, look at the damage they could do. Just grab down throw, neutral air, did 20. And that hammer is a little bit longer, I think, than Marth's sword as well. So It's not an easy matchup for Kuyan, but it feels like just whoever gets in can get so much out of the advantage state.
Oh, for sure. And like you said, that hammer is bigger than the sword. But it's weird because it's just dependent on how exactly Kuyan is able to react to these Gordos, right? The Gordos are going to be very crucial. And online, Gordos are such a strong option. I see a lot of people just struggle in general to combat the Gordo. And it's crazy that ThermalX is able to get the dash attack just like that to go into this next stock here.
Yeah, that dash attack, surprisingly strong. Long, laggy move, but very good at the ledge. And they're able to take the stock. 89% here on ThermalX. So Kuyan's able to get one of those tippers. Maybe they can get a kill here, but they try to get aggressive with it, and they take a little bit of chip damage. 27 here. Can they catch a landing? No, instead they get inhaled. They have their jump, though. Use it to try and forward air the Gordo, but they mistime that jump. They're able to weave around it now. Hit the inside, the hilt of that sword. And you can tell Kuyan is kind of covering generally the right space, but it's just barely off on the timing. Wow. And they're going to get caught rolling in on the hammer. No, 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 says ThermalX. Thank you very much. A side B will answer back, and ThermalX will drop his opener, but it's a substantial 2-1 stock lead for the Big Penguin King.
Yeah, and it's crazy to talk about like the efficiency of ThermalX's Gordos right now, because obviously the level 1 is to just, you know, hit the Gordo back to DDD. But if it's a true DDD, true DDDs know, oh, I can just side B again to re-grab my Gordo and throw it out again. But right now, it's just like literally ThermalX is just playing on every single option. In the minute Kuyan falls asleep on the edge guard, ThermalX able to secure the stock there with just a run-off fair when you're not paying attention, and when it matters, the absolute most. So amazing job right there from ThermalX here.
Fantastic stuff. They clean it up, get a 2 stock off the back of it. But again, it just feels like Kuyan's got to work a little bit harder, seemingly, to get in, right? The level 1 stuff of knocking the Gordo back is not always coming to fruition for Kuyan. And then the moment Kuyan is off stage, all those jumps can be so difficult to weave around for Kuyan. So ThermalX, really solid control here of game number 1 overall. Good damage output, and they were able to clean it up on those edge guards. So ThermalX extending Hawaii's lead here. I'm curious now to see if game 2, do they opt to go back to ZSS, or I think the Marth is not a bad pick here, but maybe the stage selection slightly different. What do you vary here? What do you change from game 1 to game 2 if you're Kuyan?
See, now that's a great question, because you got me pondering over here. I'm pondering. It's interesting because, like we talked about, right? Marth has a lot of capabilities to, you know, fight the ranging game with DDD, and DDD can be punishable once you get in on DDD. But we saw those level 1 options for Marth and for Kuyan just be kind of outright just ignored by ThermalX, and ThermalX was ready because, I mean, if you got a pilot DDD, who some argue is one of the worst characters in the game, you've got to know what DDD's weaknesses are to truly shine with this character. I think that ZSS could be a good option, right? Because, of course, when Marth is out of resources, like we saw in that last stock of that previous game, Marth can get edge guarded. Marth can get their stocks taken very quickly. So I want to say it's doable. It's just, do you really want to switch to ZSS when you just were working on Marth, who is, in comparison, so much floatier, so much immobile, right? Marth doesn't move like, you know, a crazy amount of time. Marth is a very read-focused character. Marth is a character that you want to kind of play patiently. ZSS can kind of just go from here to here, you know, in less than 5 seconds, and then you're like, oh wait, well, how do I track this? So I think it might. Okay, yeah, I was gonna say I think the ZSS might come out, especially if that's what Kuyan is more used to using. I just hope that you know, the setups are still there, and that there's, you know, a good enough amount of spacing that Kuyan knows how to properly move around DDD.
Town City, the stage selection this time around. Like you said, that movement being a key factor. And Kuyan making good use of it here through the first 20. 12 to 59 in terms of percentage.
Yep.
keeping Thermalax in the corner, but now Thermalax fights their way out. They get the inhale as well. Gordo will connect. Platforms will go away. Downbeat gets stuffed up by Gordo as well. And that up air nearly does the trick. Gordo lingering, they'll be able to shield it, but the neutral air just barely whiffs. The up smash comes underneath it, and Kuyan drops the opening stop.
No, it is really crazy just to see, right? Like, it's almost like Kuyan was like, all right, I gotta try really hard in order to actually get this going. What? Hold on! Did DDD just hurtbox shift away from the flip, from the up B?
I thought he got the spot dodge out. The up B just comes out late from Kuyan, but still, that is an opportunity missed from Kuyan. They go for another up B. They're able to drift back to the ledge. That's a berry instead. Up B here should do the trick, and it will. Tie stock game here. 45% onto Kuyan. Can be quickly navigated and made back up for. But they've got Thermalax in the corner here. Thermalax has been really good at mixing up these corner options as well. It's allowed their stock to, have a little bit more time on stage, fighting their way out of the corner, playing patient. That tempo change when Kuyan is just kind of hanging out by the ledge, paying off dividends.
No, for sure. And I was gonna say it's actually incredibly smart for Thermalax to just instead air dodge away from the ledge, because you really want to get as far away as possible. That up air is able to take the stock again. Thermalax in a great position. But yeah, like right there, just air dodging all the way down, knowing my safe space is literally below the ledge, because, I mean, you really have to time it perfectly for Zero Suit to get a spike, or just to get that down B2 frame in order to actually kill Thermalax. So Thermalax playing it really well, and every single time Kuyan is trying to make it back to stage, Thermalax is just ready. Again, another ledge approach here. The back air perfectly timed to seal the deal. Kuyan died at 70%.
Thermalax swipes away game 2, which looked so solid for Kuyan off the start. But it's Thermalax sitting high and mighty on the throne here, holding on to get that victory in game number 2. And Hawaii build themselves as a substantial lead off the back of it. Look at this opener. That neutral air, the moment he drops shield, that up smash kind of shifting his head to get that hammer underneath, gives Thermalax that opening stock. And Thermalax just had answers, I feel like. In different phases of the game, Kuyan would try one option or another, and Thermalax just was able to stuff out more times than not.
The king DDD for a reason. When you come for the king, you best not miss. And right there, just knowing you're going to get off the ledge, doing that ledge get up, right? And literally, I think, yeah, so the hand, ZSS's hand got nicked. Look at this. Look at this. Hold on. She did a jab. Hurtbox extension. Give me them fingers, bro. You're dead at 80 because you threw out a jab. Like, brother, that is crazy. Oh, man. Some of the interactions in this game, I gotta hand it to this game. This game surprises me every day, man. Every day there's something new.
And Thermalax making the score now 11-3 in favor of Hawaii. Decent showing from Kuyan, though. They don't come up with a victory, but I mean, they made Thermalax work for it. I gotta say, though, it feels like some of those aerials, it feels like they had opportunities to knock the Gordo back at times. They got hit by Gordo a lot, but I think it's partially just I don't want to blame it on Wi-Fi, but I'll say that timing is a little bit harder to execute upon, especially with the distance between these two schools. And I feel like that's something that cost, I guess, Kuyan in this instance. But it's also something that you have to prepare for when you're playing against Hawaii. We talked to St. John's about this last season. They had a whole other set of characters for every player that they were going to play, depending on who they were going to play against and who they would typically play, because they knew that connection was going to be a little bit rougher than usual. And it's also something to note, a lot of these teams, the practice is in person with each other. You get used to that, in-person style where things just come out a little bit faster. But in the online era, in the online format, sometimes those things aren't as true.
No, I mean, literally, it's kind of like matchups, right? Like, another level 1 instance is, oh, hey, I'm going to play Marth for DDD. Maybe that works. And then the level 2 is like, all right, well, now I'm going to counterpick a character. We got a level 3 here where now we're in a league where colleges have to pick, all right, based on whoever's Wi-Fi we got to deal with, we're going to play this character, right? So it's just a mind game over and over and over again with all these different variations, right? And it's something crazy to see. And, but University of Hawaii is now up to, like you said, 11-3. And now Connecticut has to kind of find a way to step the game up here in order to not allow that lead to grow any further. Of course, if the lead grows any further, I think there is a certain barrier where Connecticut is almost guaranteed the L. So, of course, like I said, Connecticut has to step it up here. Going into this next game, we have small left coming out from University of Hawaii versus Connecticut's own Nate, but I do not know the characters these two pilot, unfortunately. I think you might have a little bit of data on there, Soy.
I do. Nate's been a consistent starter for the UConn squad, and on a couple different characters. We saw Inkling week 1, we saw Bowser week 2, the Bowser making a reappearance here in week 5. Now we'll get to see how they do against small left, and this one is going to be rough. Pyramithra, obviously, all that speed is going to chip away at this big, heavy tank for Bowser. But I feel like the difference is going to come when Pyra has to switch out onto the stage. But still, Nate's got a lot of work to do. And when we talked to University of Hawaii the past couple of weeks, they were talking about they were so excited to see small left on this roster, number 1 on the Hawaii PR before coming to college. And he has shown off a couple of times. And now, with a real substantial lead here against Nate, getting an opening stock, only 23% here on stock number 1.
Yeah, and like you mentioned, right, Bowser's that big body that, if somebody is applicable and knows how to play Pyramithra perfectly, Bowser's not going to get the chance to move. Sometimes when Bowser does get to move, it can be scary, but right now, Small Left does not care whatsoever. This is just another day in the park. Small Left is used to this feeling, like, all right, doesn't get the spike though, but Nate able to answer back a little bit with a nice little nair, chip on some damage here. Gonna get the up B, and that almost broke shield.
Nearly. That bubble was low. Up smash, tried to contest that down air, could not. Ooh, I like the move by Small F there. Unable to really connect on it though. Neutral B coming out there from Small Left. Won't be able to catch Nate going in. Nate tried to turn around back air there, but Small Left's option was just a second faster. That one won't be able to take the stock quite yet. Lands on the platform, dancing around these aerials. Love the down air there to get around Small Left, but still unable to find the opening stock here. Nate's got to make this one count. They're 145, but there's nowhere to run to. Can't go back to that platform, not with Pyra's up tilt coming out and stuffing out that option. Small Left up 3-1 now. 98% on them, so this is death percentage if Nate can land something strong, but forward tilt will knock them to the other side of the stage.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to mention. That forward tilt's going to be the key opportunity to really seal in the stock here for Nate. If you can time that forward tilt almost perfectly, right, that's going to be able to net the kill, because obviously Pyramithra off stage is their biggest weakness. So being able to get that, and even be able to get some of these tech chases with side Bs. Side B is another thing that Bowser absolutely needs to get some of these matchups a little bit more hopeful. Unable to get that up tilt though, the drift coming out from a Small Left really well here. Good job air dodging to the ledge, and the up tilt to steal the first stock on Snake's part, but has to play a little bit of a patient game here and not get too over aggressive. Huge opportunity here.
Got some good damage. Ooh, the Flame Breath, love the idea, especially if it connects. That was likely a good 40 to 50 damage he could have potentially gotten onto Small Left, but instead, up B gets shielded. Down smash to knock Nate away. Dash attack does not connect. Down tilt won't either. Now Pyra's out. Nate's up to 100. Run off forward air once more. Low recovery does not get the down air out in time. Forward throw off stage. Nate forced low once again. Able to roll around the hitboxes, but only for so long. 158. And another side B will track them down. Knock them up off the top of the stage. And Small F takes game number 1.
Yep, line them up and knock them down, that's what Small F does the best. Right then and there, it was just such a good, movement options coming out from Small F, regardless what Nate wanted and regardless of how Nate was able to answer. Small F was just able to track down continuously and dash in and out of advantage just to keep the fear factor in Nate's eyes, right? Playing a little bit spooky, just unable to really get off that platform there. Best to kind of hold shield here, right? You want to hold shield, but Nate tries to run off. And, when you're running off versus Pyro up till you really have nowhere to go. That thing covers virtually the whole platform. Getting the back air right there, not going to seal it for Bowser. But after the air dodge, if you're not prepared, you're going to get got by that side B. That Blazing Edge is going to take the stock right there. And Small F up with a huge amount of a lead coming into this game, too.
Massive lead now for University of Hawaii. It's also worth mentioning, Small Left has been the go-to guy in terms of that third spot on the roster for the 2 weeks that Hawaii has really played. 2 of their wins are forfeit wins, unfortunately. They would have loved to play out those matches, but circumstances be as it may, and Hawaii will love to hold this undefeated record if they can here against UConn. But I want to mention that Small Left has had such a massive impact on this roster. In the past 2 weeks that they've played, Small Left has earned 7 points in each victory. And remember, in this format, the maximum amount of points you can earn is 8. So in the past 2 weeks, he's only dropped 1 stock each week. He just dropped 1 in game number 1, and we're seeing a complete character switch up here for game number 2. So to keep pace, Small F would have to 3 stock here, and he's got the potential to do so. Donkey Kong versus Pokemon Trainer.
Yeah, no, literally I was going to say, Donkey Kong Pokemon Trainer is a little bit on the bad side for Donkey Kong. Again, another heavy, can get comboed around a little bit. Struggles in the frame data department versus specific characters. Okay, good job fast falling, not getting in the range of that up B. But, wow, great combo, just great awareness overall there. Going to go ahead and throw out the Bowser Flame Breath, except it's on Charizard. The up B coming out, big punish coming out from Nate right there. Good job getting the up smash right there. But the back air is one thing you have to pay attention to each and every time that Charizard is in disadvantage, because it is virtually safe, especially if they go for that tipper option.
That back air able to take stock number 1. Ooh, good test there. Nate goes for the tech check, and instead it's Small Left able to survive off the back of it. Pressuring now. Up air. Ooh, second up air gets air dodged. Well timed by Nate. Dash attack won't connect. Back air from Small Left. Control of center stage once again. Nate gets side beat into up B. Charizard is out, chasing him down. Nair won't connect. Back air threatening. Dash attack to cover Nate once again. Low recovery forced out. Another grab. Is this an up throw? They reach the platform, and down goes Nate. Second stock. Small Left barely scratched on that one. I think only got hit once or twice. They'll get walked off stage, but the mash was there from Small Left. Do they find a way to survive? Tether recovery. Charizard recovers low, and they're back to stage, but only for a moment. Down throw. Once again off stage. Low recovery. Small Left fighting for their life here, trying to hold on to that third stock, but run forward, up B, grounded will do the trick, and Nate will deny the 3.
Yeah, Nate is not looking to get 3 stock right here. Able to get extra damage here. Okay, dash attack was the follow-up, trying to go for that forward air, but right now, oh my god. Small Left has been doing an amazing job at just being in advantage with Ivysaur right now, but with a great donkey punch coming out from Nate right there. Good back here. Gonna go ahead and charge up that donkey punch in again. That could be the key in sealing this first stock and managing to actually get the next stock and bring it down to a 1 stock situation here. The side B, not going to break the shield just yet.
There it is! You called it out! The DK punch coming through. And honestly, I was looking for another grounded up B because of all the projectiles that Small Left was throwing out. But now, Nate's got to find a way to land here in this tie stock game. Last stock apiece. 114. He's got to be careful. Another grounded up B. Knocks Small Left away. Small Left, able to land. Only for a moment. Nair and forward air connect, and this is a decent amount of damage onto the Charizard. 79 now. Up smash won't do it. Back air gets shielded. Dash attack underneath, and Nate will recover low once again. Small Left does not find this grab. DK punch online as well, and you can tell Nate's looking for it. Up air won't find the mark on that platform. Run off back air. Clipped by up B. Down air connects and knocks him out of the stage with a shield. Maybe a grab, no. Falls through for the up air. Grounded by side B, and Nate Down smash won't do it. Runs off stage here. Smolef able to get back to it. Back airs won't collide. But now it's going to be Smolef's tail to shut down Nate. And Smolef takes the third series.
Oh my gosh, dude. The amount of advantage state Nate was in the whole time was so ridiculous. Because right there, like, oh my, okay, let's talk about it here. Right then and there, I thought the back air was coming out, right? But bailed on it just last second, misses it again, throws out another back air. If it would have been an up air, it might have taken the stock. But right then and there, Smolef just going right back down. And it's crazy that, oh my God, the the up smash, everything was just so good on both of their parts here. We could definitely see the great advantage from Nate's Donkey Kong here. Even right here, just great knowledge knowing that Bowser and Charizard are both big enough to where Charizard gets the hit, it's going to be a guaranteed up throw, right? Just great job on both players here. Almost a reverse 3-stock. Crazy to think about.
Especially for how good Smolef had been playing. Nate nearly pulling off this comeback. One of the best losses you'll see all year, unfortunately, for the side of UConn. Smolef getting the job done, but by the skin of their teeth. DK punch catching here. That second back air was about to come out, but Smolef just could not get it fast enough. I thought on that grounded side, or on that side B, when he grounds Smolef, maybe we'd see up smash or something, down smash, just one of the few options there that does not find a kill. And then that final moment, that final stock, you can see after that second whiffed back air that you mentioned, he goes for that up air that you talked about, but it's already too late. The back air from Charizard coming out, and Smolef able to get the job done, able to secure themselves another victory. They remain undefeated this season. It's 16-3 with 2 sets remaining. So if UConn is going to find the victory this week, they need a near perfect 2 sets to come through. It's a 13-point differential. Maximum you can earn out of a set is 8. So you're going to need, at least one very, very good set from this next player for the side of UConn to try and bring this one back. And with the depth of Hawaii's roster, that is a easier said than done task.
Yeah, I was going to say it's a bit of a tough ask, but hey, we almost saw a reverse 3-stock on Pokemon Trainer with Donkey Kong of all characters, so I'm not going to say anything is impossible because the word itself says I'm possible, you feel me? So anything can happen in this next set here, and funny enough, we've already seen Wrath, but we're actually going to get Cozy Wrath coming out on the side of University of Connecticut Huskies, and then we're also going to get NNS coming from University of Hawaii. I hope I'm pronouncing that right because I don't think you would make your tag n's. But, just always want to double check. You feel me? I want to make sure everybody feels welcome and invited. So, kind of double check.
It's been a minute since we've seen both of these players take to the stage. Neither have made an appearance this season, but both names that if you've been around the EGFC, you've recognized before. NNS, I believe they were Sheik the last time I saw them. It was either Sheik or Game & Watch. I have those 2 players right in the same column of my notepad. So I believe it was Sheik last time we saw them, but Sheik, a character that we don't frequently see. And on the flip side, Cozy Wrath is the master of many swords. We've seen them play a couple of different swordies. Shulk has been, I think, the most practiced one, the most used of their time here at EGFC. Also recently seen the Roy come out. We've seen Sephiroth in the past from them. And I want to say there's one more in there, but basically, if they're a sword wielder, Cozy Wrath has played them before.
Right, it's almost like the master of all swords. Isn't that what Byleth does? Byleth has all the swords and all the giant melee weapons.
I don't know my Fire Emblem lore, but I agree.
yeah. I don't know it either, but I just feel like that's what Byleth does because in the windscreen, Byleth places the axe, the spear, and everything on that around them. So anyway, but I'm curious to see, like you said, the characters that come out from Cozy Wrath. Cozy Wrath has a lot of swordies to pick from. And, whether or not NNS does bring out the Sheik. Sheik has been very prevalent, lately in the meta, and people have been arguing about Sheik too, because I think internationally Japan believes that Sheik is S tier, and in the US everybody's oh dude, Sheik's so garbage. And then you see Web JP, of course, and then you see Void, and you see all these crazy players doing insane stuff with Sheik. But like we talked about a little bit earlier in the previous sets that we've had, right?
those high execution styles, those high execution characters sometimes tend to struggle online, and it can be one misinput that spells doom for one character. So it could be up to that one input that might be that could spell whether it's winning for University of Connecticut or no, forgive me, whether it's further winning for University of Hawaii or on the verge of winning for University of Connecticut. So I'm very excited to see what we got coming up forward, since we have been seeing a lot of new characters that we haven't really seen in the EGFC scene.
It feels like it's a matchup. I mean, this feels like a lot of matchups for Sheik, honestly. They just have to work really hard to get to that point where you can find that perfect setup to find that stock. Because if Sheik's gonna kill, it's gonna be off of the perfect setup, the sweet spots. And so to get into that position, if you're aware of those positions, it makes those matchups really hard. It's why a lot of people, like you said, in North America are like, this character's damage output isn't all that great, and their kills are, not the easiest thing in the world to land. So, coming up with that here is going to be rather difficult, especially against, Cozy Wrath, who, the consistent sword theme for Cozy Wrath tells me that the game plan is also pretty similar. I'm going to wall you out and use my distance. And that's not necessarily the easiest thing for Sheik to work through. The good news is Sheik's got some projectiles to, mess with the kind of timing and spacing of those sorties. So they've got ways in and ways to combat the sorties, whichever one Cozy Wrath opts to go for. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, in those kind of panic options, Sheik might be faster, but if you don't find that strong hitbox, like you mentioned, it could cost you the game. Whereas the sorties, they will find it eventually. It's kind of like an hourglass. It's tipped in their favor.
No, for sure. And, sometimes fighting Sheik is a game of patience, and it's just like, okay, let me wait till your combo's over, and then we'll kind of see what we can do. But here we're seeing Cozy Wrath's Shulk come out versus NNS's Sheik. And, again, this is another very, very obscure matchup. You never really see Sheik versus Shulk. It's not your usual run-of-the-mill, everyday bread and butter matchup that you see in Ultimate's meta nowadays, whether it's online or off.
Yeah, and a handful of Shulks have danced around the EGFC, but Cozy Wrath, one of the more practiced ones, like we mentioned. NNS, like we said, hasn't played in a minute here at EGFC, but they are a tested player for Hawaii, and they're going to get a very early stock here. Cozy Wrath got his jump caught by that down B, and Jump Art did not have the height to save it. So NNS with a very substantial lead here off the start. 46% after that forward air, but still, it's a full stock lead for NNS.
No, for sure. And one thing that NNS is also doing really well is just kind of, playing around the different Monado arts, right? Like, I don't really mind if you get your smash attack, or your smash Monado. I don't really mind if you get your shield. I'm just gonna go ahead and play around the ones that are most dangerous to me, and then combo you when I'm not too worried about it. Like right then and there, actually deciding to challenge the smash Monado art. Usually people tend to wait it out because, it can be, well, never mind. Now we're seeing NNS wait it out a bit more. And now just moving back over into the advantage phase.
Ooh, they got hit up by that up air. And you could tell NNS wanted that sweet spot up smash, but just barely getting around it was Cozy Wrath. If they stayed on that platform, it was surely their demise. But they're able to get out of it for now. They're at 124, though, with Jump Art online. A little bit heavier now that it's off, but still in that death range in theory. But like we said, NNS, it's not the easiest thing in the world for them to find this stock. They do need a decent setup or a good, strong, stray hit to come through. Neutral air into back air will knock Cozy Wrath off stage. Side B to force Cozy Wrath low. Get up attack will knock NNS away. And Smash Art is now online here. Cozy Wrath looking to try and make a play here. Up B does not connect. Dash attack with Smash Art still online means there's enough knockback to take down Cozy Wrath. Another Smash Art being used, but they can't track down this sneaky ninja. And now another Smash Art won't be able to do much with it quite yet. Sheik able to weave around these hitboxes, and the forward tilts will help get some good damage. Shield art now used, and NNS just continuing to be a chip away character, death by 1,000 cuts, but these cuts are coming hundreds at a time.
No, for sure. And that's another thing I was going to mention is every single... Oh, okay, guess the combo doesn't manage to finish the deal with the kill. But, you know, every single time... Yeah, I was going to say, Sheik is a character who can be plus on shield a lot of times. And right now, it just seems like Cozy Wrath just got very greedy near the end. It was like, I'm kind of sick of playing around this, and I just want to net a kill. And NNS, knowing that, just knows I can get this back air into this down B confirm and just seal the deal for game 1 here.
There's solid back air into that down B, and it feels like this is one of those matches where NNS is in pretty much control of the kind of pace of play, despite Cozy Wrath being the sortie who should control the spacing. NNS's spacing on these aerials, they're getting so much mileage off of things like that down air or like the back air that they're able to just cleanly follow up time and time again. And thus, it's on Cozy Wrath to try and make a play, but every time they do, NNS is playing the defense. They're running away, finding space, and able to stall out like you said, the dangerous arts that could potentially call them out.
Yeah, and that's like the key highlight of this game 1, right? Is just NNS stalling out each Monado R like, oh, you have Smash Art, that's cool. I have a needle and I can go run to the other side of the stage. What are you gonna do about it? It's just like, well, I'm gonna come hit you, but I really can't because you're Sheik. Like, Sheik is so hyper mobile, kind of like what we talked about with ZSS, right? Hyper mobility, unable to really touch Sheik, and then the minute a character touches your shield, you're like really like, oh, I want to get something out of shield. I want to grab. I want to nair. Like, give me something. And Sheik's just like, no, I'm like 3 pixels away from you. I should have been 1 pixel away from you for that to happen. And then NNS just capitalizing, getting that mileage going, chip damage after chip damage, and then just baiting out those aggressive options. The minute you overextend, you reach, I teach, basically, right? And that's all NNS had to do in order to seal that game 1 here for University of Hawaii. Going into game 2, we're seeing Ganondorf, the canon matchup. Baby, let's get it.
The fight for Hyrule is going to happen on Pokemon Stadium here in game number 2. UConn had, in previous seasons, an infamous Ganondorf who went, I believe, 9-1 last season, if I recall correctly, by the tag of Utopia, if I'm recalling correctly. But Cozy Wrath paying homage here on the Ganondorf scene if they can take down NNS, saying, all that kill power on Schultz couldn't get it done. Well, Ganon's certainly not lacking in kill power, and especially since Sheik is one of the lighter characters, this Ganon could potentially take this stock very early. That being said, the speed differential ever present, and now a much taller, bigger hitbox for NNS to try and find these sweet spots on.
Yeah, like you mentioned, right, like Ganondorf having all that kill power, like that, like if that was anywhere near the stage, oh wow, that could have been it in curtains for NNS, but NNS is playing very patiently to fight Ganon. The side B is actually going to go ahead and send Cozy Wrath back off stage. Managed to get back on the ledge. This is a character here that, of course, is pretty good online, right? Like, some people just opt to choose Ganon and they believe their fundamentals are just that good to where they can net easy stocks. And I've seen, players who struggle to kill with other characters just go for Ganon, and now they're winning sets. And right now, it doesn't look like that's happening for Cozy Wrath, as NNS is just playing very smartly, playing it kind of the same way they played versus the show. I'm just going to go ahead and wait you out, do what I need to do, get my chip damage, and then the minute you get a little too greedy, I'm going to kill you for it, right?
Yeah, and you saw that grab come out, but that up smash was on its way. But that is a heavy, heavy sword Ganon's got to pull from his pocket. Unfortunately, not able to land any of these smash attacks quite yet. Look at the spacing there by NNS, just barely able to get around it. Forward air won't link into that down B. Trying to get the chase down here on the platform. That is a bold move, Cotton Cozy Wrath. That is a risky maneuver that's not going to get too much off the back of it. NNS going to get this rapid jab as well. Oh, clean connection there. Needles the bouncing fish. The Smash 4 Classic gets the job done.
Yeah, no, literally right now, Cozy Wrath is just like, all right, I'm going to throw whatever I have to kill you. Like, throwing out the Warlock's Punch, throwing out a bunch of smash attacks. And again, NNS is not... Oh, okay, that was cheeky. I got to respect it, though. And I got to respect Cozy Wrath going for the taunt, too. Regardless of what it is, they're both like... I think they're both having fun here.
NNS forcing him low. Cozy Wrath gets back to stage. They're at 92, though. Can they get anything back? Neutral air landed. Both hits as well. Twice now. The chase down. No, does not find that forward smash. Just depending upon their spacing, but NNS is winning the space race. Do they find something here? Dash attack? Needles? They reverse the bouncing fish this time around, and they still will catch him. Another forward smash. This one lands on the NNS. Oh, I got a little spooked there by that wind box. Air dodging around at the last second there. Cozy Wrath's at 141. Plenty of rage, but can they find the stock here? Good movement here by NNS to weave around these hitboxes, and that up B will be punished. Forward smash takes it, and NNS takes the 4th set.
NNS with the dominant display right there. Regardless what character you go, regardless how much kill power you have, NNS was ready to combat at any given moment. You know, not giving any sort of smash attacks. I mean, maybe we saw 1 or 2 forward smashes from Ganon actually connect, but regardless, you know, look at these like clean kills, just the needles too, the down B, you know, simple bread and butters that matter when it comes most. Just knowing how to operate around shield. Every single time that it seemed like Cozy Wrath wanted to get that up B out of shield or catch Sheik and NNS in shield, NNS was just ready. Like, oh, I'm plus on shield. I don't have to hold shield. Why would I hold shield if I'm already plus on your shield, right? Like, that's just common sense. So I'm just going to roll, let you do your up B, and then I'm going to go ahead and seal this deal. I'm going to save high roll, and I'm going to save my University of Hawaii win record, and we're going to move on to this next match. So great display from NNS. Coming out really strong with the Sheik there.
Yeah, NNS, a well-practiced Sheik. We don't get to see them too often, but you can see very talented, and the game plan just well executed, outspaced, outmaneuvered, and finding sweet spots there against Cozy Wrath, Shulk, and Ganon. So now a full 20-point lead built up as we get ready for this 5th and final set, the final set of the night, this best of 3 between these two. So we'll see if UConn can get any more points on the board, help their point differential. Hawaii, one of 2 undefeated teams remaining here at EGFC. They hold on to another win this week as UConn cannot fully mount this comeback, but would like to try and hold number 1 if they can with these massive point differentials. So their 5th player, I believe, locked in as well. Donk the name, and have not played this season or just in general, I believe, for the history of Hawaii. So curious to see who they will opt to send in. For the side of UConn, Greed entering the ring. Greed, one of the heavy masters for this of UConn. Oh, hello, am I back?
You are back. Welcome back. You're all set.
All right. Greed has stolen my Wi-Fi. No, I'm kidding. Greed is one of the heavier players, is what I was saying, and Incineroar and King K. Rool has been their go-to picks through the 2 weeks that they've played. Still searching for their first victory, but going up against an unknown wild card in Donk.
No, for sure, and you know, I think if you're saying you don't really have data on Donk. Because I'm like, we're going into a mysterious one, I'm kind of excited, but I'm kind of confused at the same time because we don't know what Donk could have. We don't know if there's some mysterious. For all I know, that Donk could be a villager, right? We don't really see a lot of villagers, but it is exciting to see these new players coming in, that don't really get the spotlight as much, right? Because not only do they get a chance to shine, show off their merit, they also get a chance to learn about the game. They also get a chance to play and, learn some matchups versus other colleges, right? Those matchups are heavily dependent, especially in your growth in the EGFC as a player, especially in your growth in the overall career that is, a professional Super Smash Bros. Ultimate player. So.
Always fun to see the newer faces. We hear in our headsets that the game is ready, which means that we get to see Incineroar versus Donkey Kong. And the Incineroar being Greed, Donk on the DK. So, battle of two heavyweights here, but honestly, I mean, you feel like, you know, Incineroar's probably got that little bit of advantage, you know, especially with the way SkyJ has been playing him. And in terms of the matchup here, I mean, just so much damage, and the movement for Incineroar can really make life miserable for Donkey Kong.
Oh, for sure. And I was going to say, like, literally going into this matchup, I should have guessed the character by both of these names, because Incineroar can be a little greedy sometimes, and Donkey Kong just likes to donk sometimes. You like to donk around, man. But, of course, we're seeing some crazy advantage state coming out from Greed right now. At the magic number, already reading some of these options here, was able to conceal the first kill. Oh my god, look at that, revenging it, but it doesn't matter regardless. Gonna go ahead and get that side B from Donk and finish off with that forward smash. Both players kind of playing hot already.
What a crazy down B from Greed to get on that up smash. Like you said, comes to no avail, but the fact that he got it has got to be honestly a little shaking for Donk, just to be like, yep, this is easy, wait, what? And so we'll see if Donk is able to rally here. 121. Can they get out of the corner? Air dodging back into it. Actually gets them out. Side B doesn't really get the hit that they want. And they are both kind of swinging around, but no one able to connect until that up smash comes through. Can't dash attack a shield, not in this game. There's a grab. Donk all the way as far as they can. And yeah, the up B, not enough horizontal movement to get them over to the ledge. So just like that, tie game.
Oh my god!
And just like that, end game. It's Greed with a forward smash read, and it's game one going to the Huskies.
Bro, like, okay, I've seen some greedy options, but that was just pure, I know where you're coming, I know how to get this kill. Like, that was a crazy stock right there, I gotta say. And just, like, look at it, like, they were both throwing out haymakers, and it literally, it came down to Donk throwing the dash attack out in order for that to happen. Like, my god, look at that read, dude. That is ridiculous. Donkey Kong died at 50%. 51%! With the foot, like, taste this foot in your, like, oh my god, that is crazy, man. I've never seen Donkey Kong die at 51 unless it's a spike.
Just Chuck Norris roundhouse kicked him right to the gut. And just like that, game one gone by. Greed takes game one by one stock. Another point on the board for the Huskies. Game number two, they run it right back. And these two players, they are not afraid to swing at each other for these big, heavy reads. But it was Greed who was just connecting on more of them. Donk was able to get more of their stocks, I felt like, off of kind of easier follow-ups. Just when the game plan was simplified, Donk was getting a lot more mileage out of it. But Greed right now, being tricky with the movement, and this back throw is going to put Donk in disadvantage.
Yeah, this is scary here. Okay, that was very scary because reversal could have happened, but the reversal doesn't matter when your name is Greed. Go for the greedy options, and sometimes you just pay off when your name is yeah, my fault. That's a commentator's curse. Yeah, go ahead, Soy. Maybe I shouldn't talk. I just pressed the point.
You know, they say the key to comedy is timing, and unfortunately, Greed, not the best of timing there. Oh, great catch here. Is that the stock? No. Sends him off stage. High up B there, just barely above the ledge, clipped him, but does not get the timing on that second side B. Still, these forward smashes from Greed are insane. Catching high there on Donk and doing so much work, able to eviscerate that second stock. And Greed only at 70% here, so Donk is probably going to have to put in a little bit more damage onto Greed before really truly being able to secure this stock. They knock them off stage once more. Back air gets revenged. Greed looking for a side B off the back of it. Won't be able to do so. 40% here for Donk, but they will get one back thanks to that side B. Grounded into the clap.
Yeah, no mash either. Oh, wait, this is scary. Oh, the parry was actually really needed because that could have spelled doom. That might have not killed, but it could have put Donk in a very, very bad position here. Back air into, nope, second back air doesn't land. Greed still following up, going for the forward air, not going to work. Gets the side B, throws it in the air, goes for another forward air, but maybe should have opted for an up air instead.
Able to snap back to that ledge. These forward smashes, again from Greed, are nearly finding their mark almost every single time. Side B won't catch him. Get up attack. Now another dash attack comes through. Donk looking for a way back into this game, but he might be out of time here. He's off stage once more. 145. Up B's to the ledge. Side B gets stuffed out by the up tilt. Side B from Donk won't land. Another one connected by Greed. Still unable to get the timing down. Up air. Incineroar up high. Won't be able to track him down with that forward air. Now the DK punch goes wide as well. Donk back on the platform. Back air. Gets grabbed at the last second. All the way across the stage, and coast to coast goes the Donkey Kong, and it's Greed to take game 2 and wrap up this series.
Coast to coast, Greed doing the most, and with an absolute show, man. Like, I gotta hand it to him. Like, every single one of those forward smashes hit in the most amazing way. Waits for the neutral get up, seals the first stock, right? Second stock, already with the Alolan whip, gonna go ahead and wait it out. Oh wait, no, forgive me. Is this the second? I think it's the second one. Yeah, just go ahead and calling it out. Because for some reason, forward smash works as an anti-air, and then you're just gonna go ahead and seal it with another Alolan whip right here across the stage. Maybe some bad DI, but Donk gonna go ahead and give up the victory to Greed, and Greed gonna go ahead and add some much needed points here for University of Connecticut, bringing it to a total of 7 to 23 out of 30.
Greed, that was their first EGFC series victory. They get a decent amount of points on the board, 4 on top of that, so 7 to 23, our final score. Yeah, shocking that was their first victory.
You're lying to me, bro. You're lying to me. There's no way.
I'll say this: it's a very new roster for them. They've been struggling the past couple of weeks. They've gone up against some tough opponents too. They've played against William and Mary. They played, I believe it was UTA to start, or no, they played Delaware twice to start off the year. But the way Greed was cooking, I mean, he looked on fire in that series, and he's able to cut into that lead. So a 16-point deficit here, and after 5, or a 16-point margin here, and Hawaii, they come up with a W. They remain undefeated, and they look very, very solid.
Hawaii looking extremely solid, of course, very dominant victory. Of course, that's going to give them a lot of momentum going into their future matches ahead in the next few weeks. But I think Connecticut has found them a very, very prominent and very powerful player in Greed, especially if Greed is able to play like that on a very consistent basis. I mean, if you're making Bushido take off my glasses, like, come on, that's saying something, man. But amazing job from both sides, man. There was a lot of talent on both sides. And of course, even if there was a very large margin of victory here coming out from the University of Hawaii, Connecticut still had a lot of prowess about them, right? There is still, that opportunity to go into the lab, go into the video training room, see what you did wrong, see your VODs, see what to do in this optimal position, see exactly what positioning you're supposed to do when Sheik is camping you out as Shulk, right? There is a lot of stuff you can go in and learn from here to, further your chances of improving in the future, right? So never take it as a loss. Always take it as just smaller wins and chances to get better.
Another stepping stone for both of these teams, and UConn Hawaii final score here 23-7. We will get a chance to interview one of the members of this University of Hawaii squad after a short intermission, so don't touch that dial now. We've got one more interview after this. Hello everyone and welcome back to the EGFC. We are joined once again by Dark Musician after Hawaii got the 23-7 victory over top of UConn. Dark Musician, this game, I mean, we talked last week about how, UConn's kind of a team on the rise, trying to reset after a couple of players graduated, but you guys handled them pretty well. How do you feel about your team's performance this week?
I feel really good about our team's performance this week. I felt like we did a good job of scouting them. They have a lot of players that are new, so that was a little bit challenging for us. I think in this match in particular, a lot of the matchups just kind of fell in our favor. We just got a lot of good matchups that rolled our way. So yeah, it was a good win for us. Very, very happy with the team.
Yeah, I was gonna say you guys looked extremely dominant, man. There was just a lot of times where even if in the most obscure matchups that some people are not used to, everybody looked virtually comfortable. They didn't look like there was a lot of struggle. So is there a local scene that you guys go to a lot, or what do you have to what's your main thankfulness for being so prepared for University of Connecticut today?
I think we do have a local scene here. We actually do have monthlies in this exact building for the university, and then there are also other places that host locals every month. I think a lot of it is just a combination of the game being out for a long time, so people are just getting more experience on Elite Smash, running into different characters, and just the experience is just building up for everybody. So I think that's kind of it. It's just the local competition is really nice here, and a lot of our team is elite grinders.
Yeah, I was going to say, with the inclusion of Small Left, because I heard Soy mention Small Left was number one in PR in the entirety of Hawaii. So
for 3 years.
For 3 years, wow! And this was their first time being on the roster, correct?
Yes, he graduated from high school last year, so he's freshman.
Wow. Okay, so was there a scouting report there? How did that go? Were you guys excited to get the number one on your guys' team? Did you guys see it as a huge opportunity, or was it kind of how are you feeling with that sort of inclusion onto the team? Are you feeling really ready? You guys can take the number one this year? How's it going for the future?
It was definitely something that was on my mind since he was around the junior or so. I actually worked with him very closely when he was still learning the game. I coached him for a little bit, for about 2 or 3 years, and after he got a lot better, he started dominating on his own, and we talked about him potentially coming here. There were other options around the table, like SoCal. Some colleges in SoCal were potentials, but he's at least going to be here for a couple years, so we're just going to ride it out for now. We definitely think we have a good chance to compete with the higher upper teams this year, and there's actually going to be some really talented high school kids coming up next year that will be freshmen that will also help our roster out a lot, I think. So yeah, I think in the next couple of years we're going to be pretty scary, if not already.
Hey, you guys are already scary, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm over here frightened by what I saw. I was like, wow.
Thank you.
Of course.
So you guys remain undefeated, and I'll ask, I normally ask about the roster and whatnot, but I figured it's Halloween. So I'm wondering, do you guys have any Halloween traditions over there, or do you guys have anything to do that you guys celebrate? What was your favorite part of the holiday?
Usually, if we have a tournament close enough to Halloween, we'll usually have Smash players come in costumes, and we'll take pictures and stuff like that. I think some of the groups do go out to parties and stuff like that, but I usually don't celebrate that anymore. But yeah, as a Smash community, definitely people come in costume. There's lots of free candy and lots of treats handed out to everybody. So yeah, it's a good time. It's a good time. Also, shout outs to Donk, by the way, tonight. This is his first ever EGF match. He is new to the team, and he's been working really hard. So I wanted to give him an opportunity to try it out. So yeah.
Love to see that. Hawaii always with a roster, a plentiful roster, and it was interesting too to see players like you mentioned, Donk get their first start, but also to see some older names like NNS kind of make a return after a long period of time. And I think we talked about this a little bit last week, but those are more your decisions than the players, or is it just a collaborative effort?
It's mostly my decision because obviously Sheik Online can be very, very difficult to pilot, especially with the East Coast to Hawaii connection. But I also promised the team that if they kept working at it, that I would try to give them chances to play. And NNS has been very, very patient. Shout outs to him. He's been working really hard too. So I felt like now was the time to give him a shot, and he made the most of it. I think he played. He had one of the best sets of today.
For sure. Yeah,
Very solid
man.
Performance. Sorry about that. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, man. Keep going if you got any more. I was just gonna say, no, big shout outs to the whole team, man. I mean, big shout outs to Donk too, even though that was their first tournament. There was still a lot to gather. Amazing sets and amazing plays coming out from Donk as well. And just shout out to the whole team, man. You guys did a spectacular job, and I'm very excited to see you guys in the future of this league as well. So.
Well, while you're here with us, would you like to thank or shout out anyone? The floor is yours.
Shout outs to the University of Hawaii Esports Department. They are flying us out to Port Priority 8, which will be in a couple weeks, and the lineups at that tournament is going to be stacked. I saw the preliminary seeding, and I'm very excited for our team to get a chance to play against some of the world's best players. So thank you to the UH Esports Department for the opportunity. And thank you to you guys for doing this on a Halloween evening, working hard for us and keeping the sets hype, entertaining. And shout outs to Devin on the controls. He always does a stand-up job.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us, Dark Musician. We'll let you celebrate this victory this week, and we'll see you for next week's matchup. I believe you guys take on Marquette in week 6, so we'll see you there.
Yep, happy Halloween. Thanks.
Happy Halloween. Yeah, man, what an amazing turnout we had today at EGFC. Amazing sets from both sides, from Hawaii to Connecticut and from Marquette to William and Mary, man. Some amazing job from all sides. It's great to see people improving. It's great to see, how these teams are, coming together and, wailing through the storm as the season goes on and forward. So amazing job from all sides.
And there's plenty more action to come. This is just week 5. We've got 8 weeks of the fall split before another 8 weeks of the spring split. So be sure to tune into official EGF to follow not just SSBU, but all the games that the EGF covers. Thank you once again to the EGF for allowing Juice and I on the mic. And thank you to House of 3000 for putting on this production. Those beautiful replays are brought to you by them. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. And we'll see you all next week. Happy Halloween, everybody.
Happy Halloween, y'all. Take it easy.